The moment my eyes snapped open, it wasn't the pearly gates of heaven greeting me. No, it was a magnificent pair of asterisk mountains times bouncing right in my face. I went from being a legendary reaper in my past life to a drooling infant with a lagging processor. Suddenly, a familiar chime rang out. The system had awakened. Name Lin Zichen. Age 33 days. Attributes 0. But fate granted me the ultimate protagonist cheat code, the golden finger. In the blink of an eye, 3 months flew by. My mother, Yuanxin, and father Yansheng treated me like their personal plush toy. And yes, I was enjoying the legendary lap pillow technique. No crying, no tantrums. My mother was probably thanking the heavens for blessing her with such a suspiciously well-behaved angel. My father observed my physique and made a bold prophecy. Look at this bone structure. This kid is destined to become an S-class genetic warrior. At the very least, he'll rule the world of mechanical modification. Just then, the notification panel flashed. My 3 months of patience had paid off. The novice mission was complete. Reward acquired passive skill unstoppable advance. A warm current of energy surged through my tiny muscles. I could feel myself leveling up with every passing second. But hold on a minute. Gene fusion mechanical modification. Were my parents speaking some alien language? Were we talking mutants or Tony Stark suits here? While I pondered, this time slipped away. I hit the 4-month milestone. I could already crawl and sit, but I didn't want to be dissected in a lab. So I became a gym rat ninja training secretly under the cover of darkness. Thanks to my broken skill, I was walking by month 5. Then the 6-month mark arrived. I finally decided to perform basic crawling for my audience. At last, I could sit up openly without raising suspicion. Suddenly, breaking news flashed on the TV screen. A blood-red headline screamed, "Emergency alert exotic beast catastrophe. Calling all genetic warriors and mecha pilots. Unite your strength. Humanity needs you to push back the monster tide." I froze in place. This Earth. It wasn't the peaceful blue planet I remembered from my previous life. It was a transformed world. Creatures of darkness and bloodlust had risen from the shadows. Humanity called them by a name that invoked pure terror. Exotic beasts. To survive the slaughter, humanity endured decades of bloodshed before unlocking 2 great evolutionary paths. First, mechanical modification. Replacing weak flesh with cold steel, enhancing the body with high-tech firepower to crush the enemy. Second, the elite path, gene fusion. Grafting monster DNA to steal their power. Using magic to defeat magic. In this world hanging by a thread, I was lucky. I had the system to help me secretly grind XP and evolve in safety. Asterisk, knock knock times. A sound at the door snapped me out of my monologue. A gentle female voice pulled me back to reality. "Hello, I'm Shu Meng, your new neighbor. Here's a housewarming gift. This is my husband Shen Qinghan and our little daughter Shen Qinghan. We hope we can get along." That doe-eyed little girl. She would become my very first friend in this harsh world. But in that fateful moment, neither of us knew that the gears of destiny had begun to turn, binding our souls together forever. Time moved at supersonic speed. By 7 months, I had total mastery over my body, unlocking the sprint skill. I wasn't just bouncing like a spring. I had also perfected my telepathy and the art of fluent bullshitting. Thanks to the unstoppable advanced passive, a 7-month-old baby now possessed the ultimate survival kit: run, jump, and speech. Absolutely broken. Month 8. While other babies were struggling to roll over, I was grinding out push-ups and crunches like an Olympic athlete. Of course, this was a top-secret mission executed only when my parents were out. But as they say, if you walk often at night, you're bound to meet a ghost. And that doomsday finally arrived. My mother, Yuanxin, rubbed her eyes furiously, thinking she was hallucinating. What? What in the world? Why does Chen Chen have a 6-pack? I must have written too many fantasy novels. I'm suffering from cultivation, deviation, and seeing illusions. Zhang Yuanxin, famous author of boys' fiction, was freaking out. Sensing danger, I immediately flopped over and feigned a coma-like sleep. That was close. Only my Oscar-worthy acting saved me. I needed to be more careful, or my cover would be blown for good. But the truth always finds a way out. A few days later, Mom's ear-piercing scream shattered the silence. "Honey, emergency. Get in here now." Dad rushed in, panicked. "What is it, dear Mom?" pointed a trembling finger at me. "Look, our son is only 8 months old, so why does he have shredded abs?" Dad stroked his chin, putting on his best philosopher face. "He eats like a beast, and now he has the muscles of a gladiator." "I've got it. Our son isn't a mutant. He's a 1 in a million martial arts prodigy. His future shines brighter than high beams. If he doesn't become a gene fusion overlord, he'll definitely be a mecha emperor." Meet Lin Yansheng, author of stallion harem novels. His imagination had officially left the galaxy. I let out a mental sigh of relief. I thought I'd be hauled off for testing, but instead, I was labeled a genius. Having novelists for parents was truly a blessing. However, in this insane world, I wasn't the only tiny monster around. Rumors spoke of a young master from an ancient martial arts family in the capital. Born with divine strength, lifting 20-pound weights at age 2, as if they were feathers, Mom patted my head, her eyes fierce. Our Chen Chen isn't losing to anyone. In the future, you'll stomp that little genius into the ground. Her words sparked something deep inside me. In my innocent eyes, the raging fire of ambition began to burn. Mothers have intuition sharp enough to cut glass. But asking a 2-year-old body to lift 20 kilograms, that defies the laws of physics. Time flowed like a river. In the shadows of the warehouse, 2-year-old Lin Zichen defied gravity, hoisting heavy weights with arrogant ease. He had finally conquered his second year of life. With the tyrannical passive skill Unstoppable Advance activated, lifting 20 kilograms one-handed was now as easy as flipping a page. But suddenly, a sonic boom shattered his concentration. His mother's voice pierced the air. "Zichen, where are you, little? Han Han is here. Come out and greet your guest this instant." He hastily dusted off his clothes and stepped into the light. However, the moment that door swung open, the mind of this so-called god of death wavered violently. Before him stood 2-year-old Shen Qinghan clutching a second egg tart with innocent puppy dog eyes. Yet he turned his back with heartless indifference. "No thanks. Handle it yourself." They might be the same age physically, but while she was still babbling in baby speak, his intellect had already transcended mortal limits. The gap in their levels was too vast. After stuffing her face, she immediately passed out like a little piglet. He seized every second to temper his body. However, the cruel chains of destiny seemed determined to bind these two souls together, and she became the perfect living dumbbell for his workout regime. But then, a catastrophic system failure occurred. Terror filled his voice. "Mom." She released the floodgates again. A true disaster of nature. By age 3, his power skyrocketed easily, lifting 40 kilograms with a single hand. Suddenly, the television broadcast a shocking report. A 4.5-year-old prodigy had emerged in the capital city, capable of lifting 30 kilograms single-handedly. Compared to our protagonist, that so-called genius was nothing but a small fry. He stared at his biological system interface in deep contemplation. His current rank was still stagnant at the starting line, Common Rank 1. What terrors lay within Common Rank 2? Would he shatter the limits of humanity? Driven by curiosity, he finally stepped out of his beginner village. The outside world was bizarre. Were those creatures? Orcs and cyborgs? Or was this just how humans and machines looked through his evolved eyes? First dungeon, the library. Since his parents had placed a ruthless ban on all electronic devices, this was the only sanctuary where he could decode the mysteries of this confusing new reality. Realizing their son had run away from home, his mom and little Qinghan chased after him in a panic. "Zichen, the children's picture books are that way. Where are you going?" "Wait for me." Gasping for air, she looked at the tome in his hands with utter bewilderment. "Zichen, why are you reading such complex academic theories?" His father grinned, bursting with pride and amusement. "Looks like the genius DNA is finally awakening." Meanwhile, innocent Qinghan held out a drool-covered half-eaten cookie. "Zichen, I still have snacks. Do you want a bite?" He rejected her firmly. "No. I need knowledge. You eat." Within those pages, the veil covering the world's mutation was slowly lifted. Ancient records from a mysterious ruin revealed the truth. This world was governed by 6 supreme biological tiers: common, advanced, rare, epic, legendary, and finally, the godlike, mythical rank. Each tier was further split into 9 stages. And normal humans, they were merely dust specks trapped at Common Rank 1. Before higher beings, humanity was no different from insects. He clenched his fists. He had to accelerate his evolution to survive this unforgiving realm. As if responding to his will, the system chimed, issuing a grueling new quest: Mission Absolute Mastery of Pen and Sword. Thus began the 4-year-old's hellish training arc. Relentless study, combined with body-breaking physical cultivation. By age 4, he stepped onto a new chaotic battlefield, kindergarten. Upon enrollment, he smashed through his bottleneck, ascending to common rank. 2 80-kilogram lifts, vertical jumps over a meter, and a 100-meter dash in under 11 seconds. These monstrous stats would shame a grown man, let alone a snot-nosed toddler. But as the ancient saying goes, with great power comes great responsibility. The class bullies cornered Qinghan. Bedwetting queen. You still wet your pants at 4. Seeing his personal punching bag being tormented, rage boiled in his veins. He marched to the podium, unleashing a suffocating aura that filled the room. "Silence, all of you. If anyone dares call her that again, I will personally ensure you wet your own pants right here and now. Do I make myself clear?" His killing intent was so potent, the children's spirits broke instantly. "Wah, mommy, I'm scared. I want to go home. I quit school." But suddenly, in the heat of the moment, a notification window popped up. Another quest. He hadn't even finished the previous one. Fortunately, the system allowed concurrent missions, a silver lining in this chaotic life. 6 months later, the reading quest was complete. He obtained a golden attribute, the root of heavenly wisdom. From that moment on, his comprehension skills ascended to the absolute peak of human potential. Time galloped like a wild stallion. In the blink of an eye, he was 7. Kindergarten graduation passed, and summer break meant one thing: hardcore cultivation. He launched himself skyward, looking down from a height of 2 meters. His sprint was now a blur, tearing through the wind to clock under 8 seconds. With the heavenly wisdom buff active, he devoured the entire elementary school curriculum during mere snack breaks. His next target was locked: to become the undisputed shadow boss of elementary school. Thus, Xu Chen officially began his conquest at Yang Guang Elementary School in Shanghai City. The dungeon gate to the world of primary education had finally swung open. With a god-tier intellect that had already devoured high school curriculums, domesticalizing these elementary noobs was as easy as breathing for him. But for a conqueror with ambition burning in his veins, collecting a few participation trophies was beneath his dignity. His ultimate objective: total domination. He aimed for the throne of school king in record time. But off the battlefield, Xu Chen had a different role: reluctant tutor for Shen Qinghan. He sat right beside her, guiding her hand, patiently reviewing every single line like a strict master. When Qinghan teasingly poked the dragon, he'd snap back: "Watch your mouth and focus," then immediately switch to correction mode. Wrong, completely wrong. Read it again. Shen Qinghan didn't possess heaven-defying talent, but her diligence and obedience were S-rank skills in their own right. The results spoke for themselves. In just 1 semester, she rocketed to 2nd place in the entire grade. Of course, the monster occupying the number 1 spot remained unshakable: Xu Chen. To cement his absolute reign, he didn't just study. He annihilated every sports tournament, shattering school records with casual ease. Just as Xu Chen thought he was doomed to a hell of boredom, destiny threw a chaotic variable into his perfectly calculated life. The homeroom teacher beamed with excitement. "Class, we have wonderful news. Let's give a warm welcome to our new transfer student." Xu Chen didn't flag her as special because of her looks. No, the moment the name Snow White echoed in the room, his danger senses screamed. A bizarre aura radiated from her, something that definitely didn't belong to the human realm. Snow White strode through the hallway like a queen, ignoring the burning gaze of the mob. As she passed, Qinghan couldn't help but whisper, "Little Chen, look. Her hair is absolutely divine, like pure white snow falling in the dead of winter." He sighed, too focused on threat assessment for small talk. Snow White headed straight for her target and pulled out a chair. She chose the seat directly behind Xu Chen. His genius brain went into overdrive trying to decode that alien energy signature. Was she a rare genetic mutation? Or perhaps the descendant of some ancient non-human bloodline? Observation confirmed Snow White was a total isolationist. She refused to interact with a single soul. The bell would ring, and she'd collapse on her desk like a corpse. She barely even moved to use the restroom. The class's initial curiosity died out, leaving her in the shadows. The classroom returned to its peaceful routine. But this was merely the silence before the hurricane. Over a month later, the fragile peace shattered. Snow White's body began secreting a bizarre white fluid. No one knew what it was. They only knew it carried a stench from the depths of hell. Every time she stretched, the odor assaulted everyone's noses. Her classmates gagged and covered their faces. What on earth was wrong with this girl? "Oh God, that's disgusting." A male student couldn't keep his mouth shut, sneering at her. "That fluid looks familiar. Do you never shower or something?" The bully Quan Chun didn't bother speaking. He loomed behind Snow White like a dark cloud and dumped a bottle of water over her head. He smirked with malicious glee. "I'm a nice guy, so let me help you out. Wash that stench away." Icy water drenched her, and Snow White's knuckles turned white as she gripped the desk. She ground her teeth in fury, a low whimper escaping her lips. The cold liquid soaked her thin shirt, clinging to her skin in a humiliating display. While she suffered, the delinquents laughed. To them, destroying her dignity was just entertainment. Their manic laughter forced Xu Chen to turn around. He frowned, his calculations failing him. Strange. I thought she was a chaotic threat. Why is she trembling like a weakling? Qinghan couldn't stand the injustice. She grabbed his arm, her heart burning. "Little Chen, look at her. We have to help her, please." A sharp glint of resolve flashed in Xu Chen's eyes. He stood up instantly. Done. His mind processed the data in milliseconds. Whatever Snow White was, she wasn't the monster he had imagined. Right now, she was just a victim. A lone girl being crushed by the cruelty of the mob. Xu Chen moved. He clamped a hand heavy as a mountain onto the bully's shoulder and roared. "Quan Chun, His expression darkened into that of a demon king. His voice dropped to absolute zero. Wipe that water off her desk. Now. Quan Chun felt his soul leave his body. Cold sweat poured down his face as his arrogance evaporated. No problem. I'll do it. I'm doing it right now. He frantically scrubbed the desk, legs shaking like jelly. Terror had completely overtaken him. Everyone knew the unspoken rule: Lin Zichen was a monster of brains and brawn. Even the 6th graders didn't dare cross him. Defying him was a death sentence. Having dealt with the ringleader, Zichen pointed a finger at Quan Chun, then swept his gaze across the entire room. Anyone else who thinks bullying her is funny, step forward and apologize. Immediately, the students flinched as if whipped. Pale-faced and trembling, they stammered in unison. Yes. Yes, sir. Instantly, a line formed in front of Snow White's desk. Heads bowed low, they mumbled their regrets. We were wrong, Snow White. Please forgive us. Be the bigger person and let us off. I swear I'll never bully you again. Snow White looked up, her eyes swimming with unshed tears. Gratitude washed over her face. Lin Zichen, Shen Qinghan. Thank you, truly. Qinghan smiled, patting her gently. Don't mention it. Helping friends is what classmates do. From that fateful day on, Shen Qinghan transformed into a self-proclaimed guardian, dragging me along on her relentless crusade to befriend the mysterious white-haired girl. Whenever she found a delicacy or a rare treat, she offered it to our new friend first, like a tribute to a silent princess. Yet, amidst the noise and warmth, Snow White remained timid, whispering a question that pierced the soul. Don't you find me repulsive? There is a strange scent on me. Tears welled up in her gemstone eyes, her voice trembling. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be suspicious. It's just that the world has always turned its back on me. Everyone stays away. So, this warmth, this kindness, it feels like a fragile illusion. I am terrified that the moment I wake up, it will all vanish into mist. Qinghan wouldn't hear of it. She waved her hand dismissively, her eyes burning with the fierce determination of a female general. Illusion nonsense. Listen to me well. I have tasted loneliness too, so I understand your pain. I swear on my life, I will never despise you. Just nod your head, and the 3 of us shall be sworn siblings, a bond of steel that eternity cannot sever. Hearing that thunderous vow, the ice around Snow White's heart shattered instantly. Emotions exploded as she tackled Qinghan into a desperate embrace, tears falling like a summer storm. Between her choked sobs, only broken fragments of sincere gratitude could be heard echoing in the air. Suddenly remembering something, Snow White wiped her tears and beamed. Ah, right, Han Xiao Chen, you treat me so well. I must give you this keepsake. These are twin beast fangs, a birthday gift from my mother last year. They are my most precious treasure. Now I entrust them to you as a token of our sacred pact. Please do not reject this humble offering. Just as the oath of eternal friendship was spoken and Qinghan believed these golden days would last forever, a calamity struck as swift as the wind. She froze her face, a mask of disbelief upon hearing the news. What, Snow White transferred schools? You have to be joking. Zichen nodded, his expression grave and heavy. No jokes today. I witnessed it with my own eyes. She was withdrawing her records. The scene shifts to the faculty office. A man radiating an extraordinary noble aura stood beside Snow White, bowing politely. I apologize for the inconvenience caused to the academy. Snow White handed over her files, thanking the teacher with perfect etiquette, yet her eyes held a sorrow as deep as the abyss. The procedures were executed with godlike speed and secrecy. Hiding outside, Zichen realized her background was no simple matter. She was undoubtedly the scion of a great ancient clan. And just like that, Snow White evaporated from our lives without a single word of farewell. Perhaps she was merely a passing NPC in our story, a fleeting splash of color in the intense saga of our childhood. However, compared to her departure, the earth-shattering events that followed were the true concern. That evening, within the warm glow of the living room, Zichen asked with filial devotion, "Mother Empress, is your arm feeling better?" Yuan'en stretched and replied, "It is fine now, son. I binged novels all day, so my body was stiff as a board. Lucky to have my darling son's massage skills." "I feel revived," Zichen chuckled internally. But of course, in my past life, I utilized my heavenly wisdom root to steal the secret arts of a grandmaster masseur. The effect is nothing short of divine. Suddenly, the news anchor's voice blared with urgency. Breaking news. The capital Prodigy has just achieved a miracle that has shaken the martial arts world. At merely 10 years old, he successfully fused with a beast gene. He single-handedly lifted a boulder weighing 1,000 pounds as if it were a feather. Zichen stared at the screen, his gaze sharpening into a blade. Him again, playing with genetic fusion at such a tender age, is he not afraid of chi deviation? Father Nansin walked in, drying his hair immediately, throwing shade. That Prodigy brat again. Look at that polished appearance. It is probably just a marketing stunt to sell supplements, although his family is a 1,000-year-old martial arts clan. Perhaps they possess some supreme genetic technology we know nothing about. My mother, Yuan En, immediately retorted. Even if it is supreme, using their own flesh and blood as a lab rat, that is simply too cruel. My father, wearing the face of a man who has seen the world's darkness, explained, "You don't understand. To the great clan's family, glory is paramount. Sacrificing an individual is as common as a daily meal. Without such ruthlessness, how could they stand atop the capital for a millennium?" Hearing her husband's logical analysis, Mom nodded, letting it slide. Fine, you are the wisest Mr. Know-it-all. While my parents enjoyed their domestic bliss, Zichen stood in the corner, running the power scaling calculations in his mind. This so-called Prodigy, pre-fusion lift, was 100 kilograms. After the gene buff, 500. That is a 5-fold increase in base stats. As for me, 8 years old, 0 dirty buffs. Yet I can lift 300 kilograms with raw strength alone. My potential is clearly in a league of its own. Just as I was reveling in my glorious future, the next news report hit me like a bucket of ice water, awakening a primal fear. The TV screen turned a menacing blood-red emergency alert catastrophe class 1 warning. A brutal beast tide has erupted in the neighboring nation. The situation is critical. According to footage from the disaster zone, the culprits are a mutated species of giant berserker rats. On screen, a beautiful girl screamed in despair before the gaping, bloody maw of a monster. "Help, save me, someone please." Her cry for salvation was choked off as the beast's razor-sharp fangs slammed shut. Blood sprayed across the lens, painting the world red. The colossal monster raised its head, opening a mouth as dark as a black hole, ready to swallow its pitiful prey whole. On the massive screen, the grim truth was finally unveiled to the world. After a rigorous investigation, it was confirmed that the fanatics of the heretic cult were the puppeteers behind the recent mutant rat massacre. The weight of the world seemed to rest on his shoulders, as his voice thundered with steel determination. "I implore all nations to stand with our great republic. Together, we must purge this cancerous heretic cult from the face of the earth." Meanwhile, our protagonist rubbed his chin, lost in deep calculation. This so-called heretic cult, in reality, is an organization of traitors against humanity itself, wretches who sold their very souls to demons. For mere scraps of power, they willingly became rabid hunting dogs. They would bare their fangs and claws, slaughtering their own kind without hesitation, all to serve the dark forces lurking in the shadows. Thank the heavens I reincarnated into a powerhouse nation in this life. A stable social order is the only thing giving me the breathing room I need to grind levels and grow stronger in peace. But right in the middle of his thoughts, his pupils suddenly constricted to pinpoints. His instincts screamed of an approaching bad omen. Boom! An earth-shattering explosion tore through the silence. The shockwave nearly made his family jump out of their skins, their hearts pounding in terror. The blast came from right outside the window. Moving with godlike reflexes, he tore open the curtains. Yet, his eyes were met only by the peaceful, sparkling expanse of the starry night sky. But wait, the sky was swarming with black silhouettes, slicing through the air at breakneck speed. Why would the government's mechanized legion mobilize like a disturbed hornet's nest at this ungodly hour? His gut instinct flared up. Tonight, something massive was going down. He could only pray no calamity would crash down upon them. The next morning, as the fresh dawnlight broke, the protagonist was already waiting, his patience wearing thin. "Pick up the pace, Thonham. We are going to be late for school." The little girl rushed over, gasping for air. "Sorry to keep you waiting." Suddenly, he froze. His gaze locked onto the object in her hand, as if placed under a spell. "Ah, Ham, that beast tooth of yours. It is glowing." She looked down, blinking innocently at his finger's direction. "Huh, you are right. That is strange." His eyes narrowed in calculation. Could this be a fang from a mutant beast? It made sense. No wonder that white creature gave off such a bone-chilling aura, completely unlike a normal animal. It turned out that mysterious surge of power was radiating directly from this very fang. The ghostly light flashed once, then vanished in an instant, leaving them no time to investigate further. However, connecting the Mechanical Legion from last night with this artifact's anomaly, I would bet my life that a terrifying catastrophe is about to descend upon us. On the way to school, they passed a red-haired woman, leaning against a utility pole, puffing on a cigarette. Like a predator waiting for prey, she waited until they were close, before cooing in a flirtatious voice. My, aren't you two just adorable?" She stepped out, blocking their path with prying eyes. "Tell me, are you brother and sister? Or perhaps sisters?" Thonham, innocent as a lamb, chirped up immediately. "No, ma'am, we are not related. We are childhood sweethearts." Best friends in the whole wide world. The woman let out a fake laugh, masking her intentions. Oh, childhood sweethearts. Hearing that makes me green with envy. I wish I had a soulmate like that. But why are you walking to school alone so young? Where are your parents hiding? Thonham opened her mouth to honestly reply, My parents are, but the protagonist had run out of patience. He squeezed her hand tightly, cutting her off before she could leak any intel. Enough chatter, he snapped quietly, dragging her away. We are going to be late. Move your legs. Once they reached the safety of the school, he turned to her with a stern expression. Etch this into your brain. Never answer strangers again. The world is a treacherous place. Do you understand? She nodded obediently, bobbing her head like a pecking chick. I remember. Time flew by in a blur, and soon, the golden hues of sunset draped over the streets as school ended. As the two turned into a desolate alleyway, Thonham shivered, her voice trembling with unease. Little then. Why is it so quiet here? It feels so gloomy. Like a ghost town, he reassured her. This area is scheduled for demolition next week. Everyone has moved out. That is why it is as silent as a graveyard. No sooner had the words left his lips than the red-haired woman stepped out from the shadows, her voice dripping with malice. Well, well. The two little mice finally decided to leave their hole. She turned her head, calling out to her accomplice. Brother Thang, the merchandise is here. Stop looking. I found them. The moment he saw her, he stepped in front of Thonham, his gaze turning into shards of ice. Internally, he cursed. That witch again. I specifically took a detour to shake any tails. How in the blazing hell did this vixen track us down? The redhead held her cigarette with practiced elegance, blowing smoke as she purred. Hey little ones, come home with big sister. I have lots of delicious snacks and candy waiting for you. Don't you want to come play? The bald thug beside her grimaced in disgust, cutting her off. Cut the crap. You are wasting time. He roared with impatience, charging forward like a rabid beast. Just knock them out and bag them, quick and dirty. Daddy needs his money now. Facing the charging giant, the protagonist did not flinch. He planted his feet, channeled his energy, and unleashed a punch that tore through the wind. Kaboom! The tiny fist buried itself into the thug's chest. Blood sprayed like a fountain, and his massive frame was launched backward, smashing into the wall and leaving a spiderweb of cracks. The redhead froze, her body turning to stone. She looked at her accomplice, gasping for air, her soul nearly leaving her body in sheer terror. Her mind screamed in chaos. Impossible. What kind of sorcery is this? How can an elementary school brat send a grown man flying? Giving her no time to process, he moved like a phantom, delivering a thunderous blow that nearly flipped her face inside out, sending her crashing to the dirt. His eyes devoid of mercy, he slowly picked up a brick, stalking toward the two villains. No cameras in this sector, and the fog is thick today. The heavens and earth have aligned perfectly for a silent disposal. Although I really did not want to stain my hands with blood so soon. But if they survive to tell the tale, my true power will be exposed. My survival strategy of pretending to be a pig to eat the tiger would be completely ruined. Suddenly, the world began to shake violently, as if the apocalypse had arrived. Panic flooded his senses. What the hell is happening? Why is there an earthquake at a time like this? But no, the earth shattered beneath the descent of a colossal nightmare, sending shockwaves through the asphalt. The shadow of death swallowed the thug's whole, while the beast's blood-red maw roared, shaking the very heavens. His instincts screamed instantly. It was a high-tier mutated rat, its foul jaws gaped wide, ready to devour the stunned redhead on the ground. Snap. With one clean bite, the woman vanished into its gullet. The beast grabbed the bald thug like a rag doll. Zichen broke into a cold sweat. This was a catastrophe. Witnessing the carnage, Qinghan's face turned paper white. She clung to him, trembling violently. Zichen. What in the world is that thing? He immediately scooped her up in a princess carry, his voice cold but commanding. Mutated rat. Hold on tight, we are retreating now. Suddenly, from the sky above, a mechanical silhouette descended like a meteor tearing through the wind. She dove straight at the monster with godlike speed. The shockwave from her landing nearly blew Zichen and Qinghan away, forcing them to stop and witness the spectacle. A mecha warrior, he praised silently. The government's reaction time was actually terrifyingly fast. The female warrior stood tall against the beast, raising her palm. Energy converged into a blinding light, accompanied by the high-pitched whine of a plasma cannon. She opened her hand, executing a decisive opener. A cloud of anesthetic gas instantly enveloped the monster. Immediately following was a relentless torrent of lead. Minutes later, an explosion tore through the sky, shaking the dimension itself. Chapter 4. A combo of heavy artillery pounded the mutated rat, making it scream in agony as its health bar plummeted without mercy. The barrage left it helpless, drooling and dazed. Then slash. The warrior delivered a critical strike, sending the beast straight to the afterlife, back in the safety of home. While watching the news, Zichen's brain began to run a tactical analysis of the battle. That Mecha girl is strictly amateur hour, debuffing first, then kiting for 7 whole minutes just to kill the boss. Too slow. But to be fair, that giant mutated rat was an absolute tank. Its defense and vitality were no joke. At max level, it grows over 3 meters, biologically rivaling a 5th stage common beast. Good thing I ran yesterday. I clearly need to grind more mobs. Although the outside world is filled with lurking dangers, the daily grind for food and shelter must go on. Time flew like an arrow. Qinghan and I welcomed our 9th birthday together. After blowing out the candles came the gift exchange. Thanks to my heavenly wisdom skill, I pulled an all-nighter to craft a one-of-a-kind wooden hairpin for her. Her eyes turned into happy crescents as she beamed. Thank you so much, Zichen. This hairpin is absolutely stunning. I love it. In the blink of an eye, elementary school faded and the gates of middle school beckoned. Thinking back, my blood still boils. I am so close. The title of middle school tyrant and the passive skill bully the weak are almost within my grasp. During summer break, to speedrun the title and optimize my power, I trained like a demon possessed. Every day was high-intensity gym and cardio. My strength stats just kept going ding-ding, adding up daily. Finally, right on the eve of the new school year, my biological rank successfully broke through to Common Stage 3. My physical stats received a massive buff. Lifting 700 pounds, jumping 4 meters, and sprinting 100 meters in just 6 seconds. I wonder just how strong that rumored capital Prodigy really is. Speak of the devil. The very night before school started, news of that genius plastered the TV screen. A 14-year-old prodigy from the capital fused with the Queen Aunt Jean, lifting 2,000 pounds like it was a feather. The public was losing their minds. Zichen smirked his mind, calculating rapidly. The Queen Aunt Jean can buff base strength by 4 to 8 times. If you divide that by 4, his base strength is only around 400 pounds. Ha ha ha. I am still leagues above him. In the future, once I fuse my own genes, I will solo his entire clan. Just the thought is intoxicating. The sky has never looked more beautiful. The campaign to dominate middle school officially begins. Since I was the boss of elementary school principals from the top city, schools rolled out the red carpet to recruit me. Deal closed, I chose Shanghai Middle School. With one non-negotiable condition, Shen Qinghan must be in the same school and class as me. When I was a freshman, the administration swarmed me like I was an idol, lecturing me on bringing fame and glory to the school. It was exhausting. After spitting out some standard polite responses, I found an excuse to make a tactical retreat. From the office, the teacher shouted with heavy hope, Zichen, the future honor of this school rests on your shoulders. Do your best, Zichen. You are our #1 warhorse. The principal really had high expectations. The real reason I slipped away. The facilities here are top tier. Before class starts, Qinghan and I need to inaugurate the new badminton court. On the court, Qinghan held her racket with excitement. Zichen, get ready to block this. She swung her racket, unleashing the fairy rainbow strike, but instead of clearing the net, the shuttlecock flew straight toward a stranger. A guy in a baseball cap caught it with cold precision, his voice dripping with killing intent. You rookie brats. Do you have a death wish? The final year had arrived, bringing with it a pivotal event for all graduating students. But suddenly the atmosphere soured. 2 thugs with punchable faces swaggered in their voices dripping with sleaze. Hey there, little lady. Why don't you stay behind? We can give you some special private lessons. The lackey chimed in with a disgusting grin. Exactly. If you're inexperienced, big brothers here will guide you. Hand by hand, touch by touch. Thonham didn't flinch. Her eyes flashed with defiance. Age doesn't give you the right to be rude. We were clearly here first. Tuthan, who had been observing in silence like a stone statue, finally decided to intervene. Get lost. First come, first served. Do I really need to teach you basic etiquette? But the leader, wearing a hat and an arrogant sneer, wasn't having it. To hell with rules. Even if the Emperor of Heaven descends today, this court belongs to your daddy. Tuthan calmly spun the badminton shuttlecock in his hand. His gaze turned colder than the abyss. Listen closely. He tossed the shuttlecock into the air. From now on, my word is the law. BM. A thunderous smash turned the shuttlecock into a lethal cannonball. The power was catastrophic. It tore straight through the racket strings and shredded the thug's hat in the blink of an eye. The thug's face drained of all color. Terror gripped his soul as he screamed internally. What kind of monster is this? That speed isn't human. The minion beside him trembled like a leaf in a hurricane. Could he be a legendary genetic fusion warrior? At such a young age, the 4-eyed lackey dropped his jaw in horror. If that shot had missed by an inch, Boss's head would have exploded like a watermelon. Realizing they had kicked an iron plate, the trio instantly lost their spines. They bowed so fast they looked like industrial sewing machines. They screamed in unison. Big boss, spare our lives. We know the rules now. We'll get lost immediately. Please enjoy your game. Word of the demon student spread like wildfire. From that day on, no one dared to even breathe loudly near us on campus. High school was essentially just a pro-max version of elementary school, a bit bigger, a bit fancier, and I dominated the curriculum with ease. In class, I ignored the lectures. Instead, I devoured extracurricular books, hunting for the forbidden knowledge I truly craved. At night, after pushing my body to the breaking point, I went online to grind mastery and survival skills. Thanks to my god-tier talent, heavenly wisdom, I effortlessly mastered everything. Cooking, photography, driving, swimming, even wilderness survival became child's play. But to unlock the hidden title School Overlord, I needed more. I didn't just top every subject. I carried the entire school team to victory in national tournaments. My collection of medals, it became a mountain of gold, silver, and bronze in math, physics, chemistry, and IT. I intentionally avoided taking first place in everything, just to leave a few crumbs of dignity for the NPCs. One semester flew by. The title remained locked, but I had accidentally acquired a massive harem of fanatical admirers. But those fleeting distractions were beneath my notice. Aside from training Thon Ham, my eyes were locked on a single target, the upcoming school sports festival. If I crush every opponent there, the title of School Overlord will finally be mine. I targeted the holy trinity of athletics. Shot put, high jump, and sprinting. Strength, explosiveness, speed. Conquering these three meant standing at the absolute apex of the high school food chain. Even though I suppressed my power to avoid looking like a biological weapon, the championship trophy practically walked into my hands. At that exact moment, a surge of violent energy exploded within me. The title School Overlord lit up, revealing its ruthless description: the strong devour the weak. The life essence of the death. God stands above all creation. Only by devouring the life force of others can I evolve to a higher realm. He walked away, lost in deep thought about the path of domination that lay ahead. But what exactly is life essence referring to? Thon Ham's voice snapped him back to reality. Little then wait for me. Suddenly a realization struck him like lightning. That's it. Tuthon turned around, his voice urgent. Ham, show me that beast tooth you have. Now. The innocent girl handed it over. But the moment his skin touched it, Tuthon's pupils constricted violently. He stared at the object, frozen in shock. This aura. Is this truly the fang of the legendary ghost butterfly? That night, he scoured the internet like a madman. He knew the beast's name, but the screen only reflected his own frustration. 0 results. Refusing to accept defeat, he tore through his backpack. If no one will teach me, I'll figure it out myself. Tuthon held up the fang, his eyes analyzing its structure. Found it. Luckily, Snow White had gifted him 2 of these before. He gripped it tight, activating his cultivation technique to drain the trace of life essence hidden inside. But reality is cruel. A bucket of ice water was dumped on his expectations. The progress bar only moved by a pathetic 2%. The remnant energy in this dry bone was garbage. To fully unlock his power, he would have to carve out a bloody path elsewhere. The next morning, to force his body past its limits, he decided to cycle Thon Ham to school. He turned the commute into a hellish physical training session. If those giant mutant rats dare to show their ugly faces again, these legs will be strong enough to outrun the Reaper and save her life. Speeding down the road, his momentum was shattered by a sudden shadow. A mountain of a man blocked his path. It was Teacher Guo from the martial arts faculty, announcing his presence like a thunderstorm. I am Coach Guo, the supreme commander of the martial arts team. Your performance at the sports festival was not just good, kid. It was legendary, a record-breaking feat never seen before in our school's history. His eyes burned with the fire of passion, looking at the student like he was a rare, priceless artifact. That is why I am personally inviting you to join the elite martial arts squad. Coach Guo unleashed his ultimate technique, the art of flattery. He swore the boy's muscular talent far outstripped his intellect. Refusing would be a crime against the heavens. You must say yes. Let me think about it. Zichen forced a smile, cold sweat dripping down his neck as he plotted his escape from this overwhelming enthusiasm. The coach's words fired like a machine gun, leaving no room for refusal. Look at that smile, beaming brighter than a spring meadow. Our base is room C at the stadium. Don't forget to stop by tomorrow, my star pupil. I will be counting the seconds. Twilight descended, painting the sky in blood-red hues as the day met its end. In the shadows of his room, a sharp sound cut through the silence. Clap. Zichen stared at the obliterated fly in his hand, drowning in disappointment. Cockroaches, mosquitoes, they had all been sacrificed in vain. His passive skill, Predator of the Weak, remained completely silent. These insignificant insects were not enough. To plunder true life essence, he needed a target with powerful vitality. He needed exotic beasts. Without hesitation, he grabbed his trusty phone. Zichen mounted his iron steed and tore into the darkness. With Qinghan on the back seat, his mind raced with calculations. To verify his theory, his next destination was the exotic beast meat section at the shopping center. Moving at godlike speed, in moments they stood before the most bustling supermarket in the city center. Zichen scrutinized every tray like an appraiser examining diamonds. There was plenty of exotic beast meat, but a cruel barrier stood in his way. Everything was sealed in plastic wrap. Without direct contact, how could he absorb the energy to verify his power? Just as despair set in, the voice of a savior rang out from the staff area. Fresh meat just arrived. Come and take a look. The fresh meat counter instantly locked onto Zichen's predatory radar. Bingo, the prize is right there. He moved with lightning speed. Han, keep watch for a second. I need to investigate that slab of meat immediately. He vanished before the sentence even ended, eyes glowing like high beams. Qinghan felt a chill down her spine. How could he possibly explain this strange addiction to her? His hand trembled as it reached out. The distance to the ultimate truth was separated by a mere layer of air. The moment his fingertip grazed the flesh, a violent surge of power crashed through Zichen's spine like a lightning bolt. He was right. Exotic beast meat was a treasure trove of overflowing life essence. His euphoric expression while fondling raw meat left Qinghan completely frozen. Zichen, are you possessed? Why are you so hyped over a piece of meat? She asked stiffly. How does it feel? Is it different from normal meat? He tossed the slab back onto the tray, feigning indifference. Not really, just feels fresher. Do you want to experience the thrill? Hearing this, Qinghan waved her hands like she was warding off evil spirits, shaking her head violently. Suit yourself. Zichen turned away. Since we have stepped into this holy land, we must acquire some meat for research purposes. He scanned the area, but the numbers on the price tags were long enough to reach the moon. One look at Qinghan's dropped jaw told you everything about the astronomical prices. Beast meat was a luxury reserved for the elite. Even the bottom-tier ghost shadow squid cost nearly 1,000 yuan per kilogram. Zichen held the tray high like a trophy. I will take this ghost shadow squid. Seeing his reckless spending, Qinghan started sweating, feeling the phantom pain in her own wallet. Zichen, that price is daylight robbery. Should you not ask Auntie Han before spending that much? Suddenly, he placed a hand on her head, his eyes soft and reassuring. Relax, milady. His voice dropped to a warm baritone. The Empress Dowager has issued a royal decree to buy extra for nourishment. An image of his mother, Yuan Han, busy in the kitchen, appeared in his mind. If you are going all the way there, bring back a few kilograms so it is worth the trip. And invite little Qinghan over, I will transfer the money. He pointed enthusiastically at the tray of pitch-black squid tentacles. Tonight she is determined to throw a legendary beast meat banquet for both our families. But beyond generosity, Zichen had a secret concern. He feared that if he absorbed the essence right there at the counter, the meat would instantly wither and spoil. It was just a hypothesis, but he had to buy it to perform his safe scientific experiments at home. The register beeped coldly. 3 kilograms of ghost shadow squid. That will be nearly 3,000 yuan. The cashier beamed with a bright professional smile. Thank you for your patronage, big spender. Meanwhile, Zichen walked away with a bleeding heart, tears flowing internally as his wallet took a critical hit. He would have to fast for a month to afford this again. By the time the transaction was done, the clock had already struck 9 in the evening. In these chaotic times, staying out late was asking for trouble. They decided to speed home, but the curiosity burning in his gut was uncontrollable. He secretly reached his hand behind him. Who cares if he was driving? He had to verify the truth this very instant. Witness the moment of miracles. Zichen's finger lightly grazed the bag of ghost shadow squid swinging from the handle. Ding. A brilliant blue notification flashed across his retina. You have devoured a trace of life essence. Ghost shadow squid diagram. Activated 0.1%. Confirmation complete. Zichen pedaled like his bike, possessed a jet engine. His brain crunched the numbers. Absorbing 100 grams yielded only 0.1% of the diagram. Simple math. To unlock the full 100%, he would need to devour a staggering 100 kilograms of meat, at 998 yuan per kilo. That was a total cost of 100,000 yuan. The looming shadow of a giant ghost shadow squid appeared in his mind, radiating oppressive pressure. The Phantom Ink's special ability, absolute invisibility, by merging with water. Obtaining a divine skill like this for a mere 100,000. That is not just a bargain, that is highway robbery. Plus, this was the cheapest scrap of meat money could buy. Zichen's mental calculator whirred to life. The decision was made. His new life mission, grind currency like there is no tomorrow. But the capital needed for his grand plan was astronomical, and begging his family absolutely out of the question. A man has his pride. Suddenly, his eyes beamed like high beams in the dark. Bingo. The whole point of buying this meat was a science experiment. Does draining the life essence cause immediate spoilage? Let us find out. He stared intensely at the shimmering slab in his bike basket. It had been sitting there for ages. The moment of truth was imminent. Zichen reached out with surgical precision. Interesting. It seems draining. The vital essence did not collapse the physical structure at all. Jackpot. The system chimed in like a choir of angels, Phantom Ink proficiency 3%. But just as he was riding the high, a scream tore through the air, shattering his joy. Little Chen, look out, people ahead. His god-tier reflexes kicked in instantly. He slammed the brakes, tires screeching, and leaving a trail of white smoke on the asphalt. Zichen stared at the pedestrians he almost flattened. His mouth went into overdrive. My bad. 1,000 apologies, please do not sue me. He scratched his head, face burning with embarrassment. He had been so obsessed with his life essence research that he nearly committed vehicular manslaughter. But wait, why was the bike lane packed like a sardine can today? Suddenly Thonham's eyes went wide. Zichen. Look over there. She recognized her instantly. It was Miss Strawberry. A red-haired thug had a blade at her throat. Nobody move. Take one step, and she meets her maker. Opposite him, Captain Xuansun and his squad tightened the net. You have got nowhere to run. Drop the weapon and surrender now. The veteran captain whispered a grim command. Ah Bin, hold your fire. The distance is too short, and look at his stance. This guy is a pro. He is using the hostage as a human shield and keeps shifting his center of gravity. One stray bullet and the civilian pays the price. The rookie officer gripped his weapon, sweat pouring down his face. But, Captain, if we drag this out, her chances of survival drop to 0. What about tranquilizer gas? Xuansun's expression darkened. The situation was critical. Impossible. It is too conspicuous. If we provoke him before the gas takes effect, he will slit her throat in a heartbeat. But in the shadows of the crowd, Zichen quietly picked up a pebble. With a whip of his arm, he unleashed a projectile that tore through the wind. It flew past the officers and struck the villain's wrist with sniper-like precision. The thug howled in pain, releasing Miss Strawberry, the opening they needed. Xuansun roared like a lion. Now take him down. The squad surged forward like a tidal wave. In seconds, the red-haired criminal was flattened against the pavement, completely immobilized. In a quiet corner, Thonham looked at him with suspicion. Zichen. That godlike throw just now, was that you? He immediately pressed a finger to his lips. Shh. Not a word. Let us vanish before they notice. They made it 3 steps before Xuansun's voice boomed like thunder. Halt you there, student. Did you throw that stone? Zichen hopped on his bike, waving his hands frantically. Wrong guy, officer. Wasn't me. I am just a passing cloud. The veteran captain watched them flee like frightened rabbits, totally baffled. Weird. Do kids these days fear credit for heroism? Xuansun tossed the pebble in his hand and sighed loudly. Such a pity. An act of bravery like this comes with a juicy cash reward too. The words cash reward struck Zichen like a divine lightning bolt. Clyte, clyte. He drifted the bike, pulled a perfect 180, and materialized in front of the captain like a teleporting ninja. Did you say reward? Zichen scratched his head, putting on his best customer service smile. Funny thing, my memory just returned. That stone. Definitely my handiwork. Dignity. What is dignity in the face of cold, hard cash? His soul screamed in protest. I do not want to be this shameless. But poverty does not just humble a man. It breaks him. Thonham sprinted after him, gasping for air. Zichen. Why the sudden drift? Wait for me. Xuansun chuckled. All right, hero. Follow me to the station for a statement, and I will sort out your bounty. After a quick report to the parents, the duo marched toward the police station. Their spirits were high-burning with the fire of capitalism. They locked the bikes securely in the park. Zichen composed himself, ready to receive the first glorious paycheck of his life. Naturally, the red-haired criminal was being dragged in alongside them, hogtied like a festival pig. But then, the nightmare began. The prisoner's body started to convulse violently. Bones cracked and reshaped with sickening crunches, sending panic through the squad. Code Red, he is a heretic cultist. The mutation exploded forth. He morphed into a grotesque giant rat beast and backhanded a female officer before anyone could blink. Witnessing the horror, Xuansun bellowed orders. All units, focus fire on that abomination. Priority 1 is civilian safety. He snatched his radio voice, cracking with urgency. HQ. This is a red alert. A mutant entity has manifested at West River Park. Preliminary scan confirms. It is a heretic carrier of the Rat King gene. Standard ballistics are ineffective. Repeat, ineffective. Requesting immediate heavy support. While chaos reigned, Zichen's survival instincts took over. He scooped up Miss Strawberry with one arm. Damn it. With the other, he grabbed Thon Ham in a vice grip. Dragging two girls, he bolted like a demon was on his heels. Sorry, ladies. Dignity comes second, survival comes first. We are getting the hell out of here. He checked his 6 while sprinting. The monster is not focused on us yet, but we need more speed. Move, move, move. Suddenly, the sky darkened. A female silhouette tore through the clouds, descending like a bolt of judgment. A mechanical cyborg warrior. She crashed down like a meteor, delivering a thunderous kick straight to the giant rat's jaw. The beast skidded across the pavement disoriented. The warrior wasted no time. Her chest plates unlocked and retracted mechanically. Boom! A high-yield laser cannon unleashed a beam of pure destruction. The Rat King's face distorted in the blinding light. It did not even have time to scream before it was completely vaporized into nothingness. Zichen's jaw hit the floor, eyes wide as saucers. That power, it is absolute devastation. Yet true to his nature, his grip on the girls did not loosen by a single millimeter. He gripped the handlebars, letting out a heavy sigh of relief. Thank the heavens this iron horse didn't explode. If it broke, my wallet would bleed tears of blood. Strawberry clutched his chest, voice still trembling. Miraculous. We actually survived. Beside him, Thonham nodded furiously, eyes sparkling with sheer joy. Yes, we made it. Suddenly, Tuthon's gaze turned razor sharp. Wait a minute. That squid tentacle turning pitch black. Has the beast's meat already spoiled? Clutching his spoils, his heart felt like it was being sliced open. With the life essence drained, the rate of decay had accelerated to terrifying speeds. This loot is ruined. There must be a reason. The only option was to blame that damned heretic for everything. Fury erupted in his chest. He slammed the meat onto the ground. It is all his fault. That freak ruined my payday. It must be the firepower from those mech suits. They overcooked my delicious prize. Seeing his frustration, Thonham quickly comforted him. It is okay, little Than. Keeping our small lives intact is already a blessing from the ancestors. He planned to bolt home, but the captain's orders were absolute like Mount Tai. Reluctantly, the trio boarded the security transport to file a report. But hold on. That charred corpse of the heretic blasted by laser cannons. Why was it emitting an aroma that made his mouth water? Tuthon's eyes flashed with predatory greed. That's right. The Jiangnan beast had leftover life essence, so this body must hold a hidden treasure too. A daring thought sparked in his mind. Could it be? Can I extract the Rat King genes directly from this lifeless husk? Chapter 7. Tuthon's hand crept forward like a thief in the night. Let's see how much Rat King DNA this rookie cultist can offer. No harm in trying. A brilliant pink aura swirled into his palm, and then Tuthon's eyes widened in pure shock. The numbers on the system interface were astronomical. It turns out the fresher the kill, the more potent the life essence absorption. Noticing the weird twitching, Abin opened his mouth to ask. Tuthon frantically waved his hands to cover it up. Stay calm, brother. Don't misunderstand. I was just stretching my stiff muscles. Abin nodded, completely fooled. But the captain's eyes were sharp as a razor, piercing through the excuse. Inside the security office, the air grew heavy as Xuansun began his intense interrogation. I proposed a reward for your bravery, but tell me the truth. In that pitch-black darkness, how did a high schooler hit the cultist's knife hand with such precision? Cold sweat poured down Tuthon's back. He quickly scrambled for a lie. Well. I train my right arm vigorously every single night, so the muscles are very developed. The captain narrowed his eyes, suspicious but unable to refute the logic. Bam! The door burst open. Anthanham shouted, shattering the tension. Little than your family is here to pick you up. Tuthon spun around, stunned. Mom, why did you come all the way here? We could have crawled back home ourselves. Uyenhan rushed in like a hurricane. Little Than. She embraced him tightly, tears streaming down her face. Stupid boy. Are you okay? You scared me to death. Tuthon patted her back gently. Mom, calm down. I am still in one piece, plus I got a huge pile of cash for being brave. Uyenhan gripped her son's hand, her voice shaking but fierce. Little Than, promise me. Next time there is danger, the first thing you do is hide. Do you hear me? Her desperate plea squeezed his heart. Mom didn't need a hero. She just needed her son to grow up safe and sound. Tuthon pulled his mother along, his eyes determined. I promise. My life is the most precious thing. I will always protect myself first, don't worry. As they stepped out, the harsh voice of the red-haired officer caught his ear, grabbing everyone's attention. The Rat God sect is becoming more arrogant by the day. The blonde officer beside her sighed in frustration. Their tentacles have reached the universities now, seducing students who failed to fuse their jennies. She revealed a shocking truth. The enemy destroyed tonight was a student from Kwangnam University, just another victim brainwashed by the sect. The blonde officer slammed the table, teeth grinding. Damn it. We must drag every single sewer rat out into the light. Her voice dropped, filled with worry. But this is just a temporary solution. It won't kill the root of the problem. To end this nightmare, we must destroy their so-called god, the Rat King. Those two words struck like lightning. Toothan instantly grasped the key, without hesitation. He pulled out his phone, fingers flying across the screen to search for this bizarre cult. Just as expected. Their headquarters is in Sunhai City. The followers are mostly societal rejects and failures. Why are they acting so crazy this year? Sitting in the car, Toothan pondered. Suddenly, his eyes snapped open in realization. A piece of top-secret intel flashed before him. The Rat King is trying to evolve. He wants to shed his skin and become a higher being. So he sent his army to gather massive amounts of evolutionary resources. Toothan's face went pale. A terrifying theory formed. Has that monster, the Rat King, developed human-level intelligence? Suddenly, he looked back and saw two massive black shadows by the road. Mutated rats. Why are they so huge? Is it related to the Rat King? Toothan held his head and sighed, forcing himself to calm down. Stop overthinking. In this southern region, rats the size of cats are just an everyday sight. Ignoring the rats, his gaze shifted to Thonham with concern. Strange. Why is she being so eerily silent today? He narrowed his eyes at those trembling legs. Could it be a frantic call of nature? But in Zichen's memories, whenever Han panicked or hid a secret, she would fall into this exact state of chaos. As the wheels turned, his mind raced with tangled thoughts. Intuition whispered that a mysterious potential was waiting to awaken. The moment he stepped through the door, his mother dropped a bombshell. What? The precious meat had vanished into thin air. Zichen scratched his head, feigning total innocence. It was chaos out there, Mom. I must have dropped it. It's gone for good. Mom sighed deeply, patting his shoulder. Possessions can be replaced. As long as you're safe, that's all that matters. He let out a breath of relief. His acting skills had saved the day. But before he could celebrate, Dad's voice sent his heart racing again. His father declared he would go back and find it. Zichen panicked. It's too dangerous, Dad. That place is a war zone. Dad just laughed. I've got 9 lives, son. Zichen grabbed his father's hand, as if his life depended on it. Even if you find it, the meat is mashed pulp by now. It's inedible. Dad blinked in confusion. How do you know that? Zichen froze, then forced an awkward laugh. Just a wild guess. Meanwhile, in the security room, Xuansun puffed on a cigarette, frowning. Impossible. What is that middle schooler eating to throw stones like cannonballs? Suddenly, the blood drained from his face. His pupils dilated in pure terror as he stared at the screen. A giant mutated rat. What in the world? That beast is the size of a tank. Back in class, Zichen's body was present, but his soul was miles away. His hand copied notes, but his brain was running a tactical simulation. Compared to the Ratman and the cyborg girl from last night, he was still a rookie. He needed cash to feed the progress bar and unlock the abyssal ink form immediately. Relying on scholarship pennies would take centuries. He needed power now. Zichen began to hallucinate success. Should he become an academic influencer and sell textbooks for millions? No. Fast money, sure, but too much exposure. He would be a target. That path was a dead end. He corrected his mindset. This world worshipped martial power, not grades. It was a world of genetic fusion and cyborg enhancements. The martial way was the only true path. Tournament prize money dwarfed academic rewards. Decision made. It was time to act. At the gymnasium training hall, Master Quach was leisurely blowing on a cup of hot water. Master Quach Zichen's sudden shout startled the poor man, turning him into a human fountain. Before he could wipe his mouth, Zichen was shaking his hand violently. Zichen, are you here to join, or just to gossip? Zichen leaned in, whispering with calculated intent. If I join the team, do I get to fight in the city tournament? And most importantly, is the prize money thick? Master Quach stroked his beard, raising a finger like a wise sage. Absolutely. The rewards are significant. Even the smallest grassroots tournament pays tens of thousands. Hearing the call of fortune, Zichen's eyes blazed with determination. Master, I've made up my mind. From this moment, I dedicate my life. My skills to the martial arts team. Master Quach beamed instantly. Approved. Welcome aboard. He clapped his hands loudly. Assemble. Everyone, come meet the new member. This face needs no introduction. Lin Zichen, our school's legendary academic genius. Today, the scholar joins the warriors. Introduce yourselves and make him feel at home. Zhang Kai crossed his arms, looking stoic. I am Zhang Kai. Etch that name into your memory. Tianheng waved with a breezy, charming smile. I'm Huang Tianheng, Class 3. Just call me Ah Heng. Shutong scratched his head with a goofy grin. Li Shutong, Class 6. The guys call me Little Li. It has a nice ring to it. Yisei put a hand in his pocket, radiating arrogance. Han Yisei. Just call me Brother Sei. It was his turn. He flashed his trademark smile. I'm Lin Zichen, a complete greenhorn. Please guide me well, seniors. Since Zichen was a blank sheet of paper, Master Quach personally demonstrated the fundamental forms. After a flurry of movement, sweat poured off the master. Don't let the simplicity fool you. These moves are deceptively difficult. Even a prodigy like Little Li took a week to digest this. Here, give it a try. Zichen took the stance. Instantly, the celestial insight skill activated, replaying the master's movements perfectly in his mind. The system interface chimed, practicing fist arts, practicing kick arts. He unleashed the combo with robotic precision, a perfect mirror image. Master Quach froze his, jaw dropping low enough to catch flies. Impossible. What sorcery is this? The entire team stood paralyzed, staring at him like he was a monster. He memorized it in a single glance. Master Quach's eyes lit up like high beams. This was a martial arts genius seen once in a millennium. That evening, Zichen returned home to a rare moment of peace. Mom tapped her spoon against a bowl. Little Chen, grab your chopsticks. Dinner is served. He dashed to the table, closing the book on a chaotic day. Mom, I'm home. What's on the menu tonight? Uyen Han wore a mysterious smile, unveiling a culinary masterpiece. It was none other than the legendary ghost shadow squid he had been craving. Tu Thon took a deep breath. The intoxicating aroma hit him like a wave, making him dizzy with delight. It was so divine he was seconds away from drooling. Heavenly, absolutely heavenly, his mother chuckled warmly and urged him on. Don't just stand there sniffing it, dig in while it's still piping hot. No need to tell him twice. He shoveled a massive spoonful into his mouth, devouring it instantly. Uyen Han leaned in close eyes, sparkling, waiting for the verdict. Tu Thon beamed, flashing a thumbs up. Mom's cooking is unrivaled under the heavens. She happily patted her precious son's head. Eat up, you need the energy. I bought 3 whole kilograms just for your cultivation. But in that exact moment, a holographic interface materialized before his eyes. Ding. Congratulations, you have devoured a fragment of the ghost shadow squid's origin essence. The notification left. Tu Thon stunned. Wait, does eating dinner count as a devour skill? If I had known about this bug sooner, I wouldn't have rationed it. From now on, it's an all-you-can-eat buffet of power. After dinner, they watched the news. A shocking report aired about a genius girl. At 14, she successfully fused with an energy heart, becoming the youngest cyborg in history. Her stats were monstrous. Lifting a 2,000-kilogram off-road vehicle with one hand, a 100-meter dash in 3 seconds, and a vertical leap of 8 meters, Tu Thon rested his chin on his hand, calculating deeply. Compared to the capital Prodigy from that year, who truly holds the title of the strongest? Is it the one with genetic evolution, or the one with mechanical perfection? Suddenly, the screen cut to a breaking report. The atmosphere turned heavy. Sad news, Security Captain Ha Xuan-sun was found dead in his office at 11 o'clock last night. Surveillance footage revealed the horror. A colossal rat monster had breached the security bureau and brutally slaughtered him. Tu Thon's face went deadly pale, blood draining from his lips. Could it be the same monster he encountered yesterday? Danger is knocking at the door. He has to train every single second. After a frenzy of power leveling, the results were insane. Tu Thon's 100-meter sprint time clocked in at 4.6 to 1 seconds. His vertical jump hit 5.5 to 1 meters, and even more terrifying, he could press 1,000 kilograms single-handedly. But raw stats weren't enough. Tu Thon threw himself into martial arts cultivation, desperate to master his power before the upcoming tournament. The next morning, he arrived at the dojo as usual, ready to unlock a new combat technique. Curious, Ham tailed him. Suddenly, the pink-haired senior blocked his path, her voice dripping with sweetness. Junior brother Tu Thon, you haven't had breakfast yet, have you? She gently held out a carton of milk, batting her eyelashes. I brought this especially for you. It's premium fresh milk, pure and sweet. Tu Thon sidestepped coldly, keeping it polite. No thanks, I'm good. Watching from the sidelines, Tronkai felt his blood boil with jealousy. Damn it. That brat already stole my championship title at the school sports festival. And now he dares to ignore a gift from my goddess. He charged in, blocking the way. Hold it right there. Do you even know how to spell respect? If you don't want it, pass it to someone else, like me, for instance. How dare you trample on a girl's sincerity like that? Tu Thon didn't flinch. He stared daggers back. Accepting a gift just to re-gift it. Wouldn't that be even more disrespectful? Tronkai choked on his words, then screamed in desperation. Then drink it. Refusing is an insult, and insulting her is insulting me. Tu Thon dropped the ultimate countercard. But I'm allergic to milk. The bully turned beet red with rage. I don't believe you. Lam Tuthando, you dare to duel me. If I lose, I'll shut my mouth forever and never speak to you again. But if I win, you drink every last drop. Just then, ting, a system window popped up. A new achievement. He looked up with anticipation. Finally, the day has come. The 4th achievement mission has officially been activated. Tuthan channeled his aura, energy exploding as he smirked. You're on. Let's hit the ring. Instantly, the gym exploded into chaos. Breaking news. Lam Tuthan is PKing a senior. Everyone get to the arena now. A massive crowd formed a circle around them. The purple-haired girl blushed, screaming at the top of her lungs. Junior 2. Then I'm cheering for you, teach that guy, a lesson he'll never forget. Pink hair joined in, phone raised high. You got this. I'll capture your victory for the history books. Trong Kai felt his heart shatter into a million pieces. These girls. Do they all think I'm fodder? Fine, I'll crush this arrogance out of the so-called genius. Once and for all. I don't care if they call me a bully. His growth rate is monstrous. If I don't break him now, I'll never get another chance. Tuthan stood with hands on his hips, looking utterly bored. Can we hurry this up? I need to get home for dinner. Can we speed run this beatdown? The sheer disrespect made Trong Kai's eye twitch. He sneered. Fine, I'll grant your death wish. Referee Quach raised his hand. Remember, friendship first, competition second. Fight. Trong Kai dropped into a stance but shouted immediately. Wait, you've only been here a month. I've been training for 2 years. To keep things fair, I'll let you have the first 3 moves. He held up 3 fingers, his face, the picture of arrogance. Tuthan nodded nonchalantly. Deal. In a split second, he vanished. Like an arrow leaving the bow, his fist howled through the air, leaving his opponent frozen in shock. A devastating uppercut connected. Boom. Trong Kai's face crumpled, a fountain of blood sprayed from his nose, and he was launched across the room like a rag doll. The opponent was already foaming at the mouth, completely out cold on the floor. Coach Kwok's jaw hit the ground in disbelief. What kind of power is this? Just one single punch. The entire martial arts team stared in horror, sweating bullets. This is insane. Where is the logic in this overpowered strength? Is it over already? It happened in the blink of an eye. Thonham cheered wildly from the sidelines. We won. Our death. God is invincible under the heavens. The fangirl army jumped for joy, hearts pounding. Their leader was just too cool. Ding, a blue system panel materialized in midair. Congratulations, host, on defeating the love rival. You have successfully captured the beauty's heart and gained priority rights in mate selection. Elimination progress 1 out of 1,000. Tuthan stood with hands on his hips, deep in thought. Do I really have to crush 999 more people to unlock the natural selection attribute? He scratched his head, his eyes scanning his trembling martial brothers with a predatory gaze. Hey seniors, since we are all here, why don't we have a friendly exchange of fists? The team looked at him like he was a monster in human skin. Run for your lives. Everyone instantly invented the lamest excuses to escape. Oh no, I just remembered I have math class right now. My mom is calling me for dinner. I have diarrhea. My stomach hurts. I need to go to the hospital. I am fainting from low blood pressure. Just like that, the seniors vanished into thin air. Finally, Trong Kai crawled up from the floor, his face green with nausea. I refuse to accept this. You cheated, you brat. Fight me one-on-one again, and I swear I will beat you to a pulp. Coach Quach rushed over to lecture him. Trong Kai, a loss is a loss. But deep down, the coach wondered, was that punch just blind luck or true skill? We need to verify this immediately. The coach pointed a finger at another sacrificial lamb. Little Li, you are up. The student named Thu Dong trembled as he took a defensive stance, his face drained of all blood. Please go easy on me, junior brother, not the face. 10 minutes later. To avoid suspicion, Tuthan faked a struggle, throwing clumsy punches. But strangely, aside from the victory over Trong Kai, the progress bar remained stuck at 0. It did not budge an inch. The system chimed again with a crisp sound. Achievement. In an official match, eliminate 1,000 opponents using primitive physical methods. Reward the biological natural selection attribute. Total opponents eliminated 1 out of 1,000. Tuthan looked at the ceiling. So sparring is useless. I need real combat where blood is spilled. Suddenly, a heavy hand landed on his shoulder, accompanied by the coach's scheming grin. A genius, Tuthan, you are a martial arts prodigy, seen only once in a millennium. You joined a month ago, and you are already our ace. In this year's district tournament, our Sun High School is going to crush everyone and take home the gold trophy. Hearing this, Tuthan's eyes lit up like high beams. Perfect. Participating in the tournament is the ultimate opportunity to farm opponents. As long as I knock them out on the official stage, my quest progress will skyrocket. This is the perfect power leveling plan. While he was calculating his experience points, the defeated Trong Kai's voice rang out like a dying duck. Lam Tuthan. Even with a face swollen like a steamed bun, he still tried to act tough. I admit total defeat. From now on, even if you use my head as a toilet, I will not dare to complain. The crowd turned green at his disgusting metaphor. Everyone gagged and ran away to vomit, leaving Trong Kai standing there confused. Hey wait, come back, I haven't finished my speech yet. In this world, high schoolers have two paths, literature or martial arts. And obviously martial arts is the king, the only road to supreme power. Thon Ham chased after him, her voice sweet as honey. Little then wait for me, I am working hard to catch up to you. To qualify for the elite martial arts class, the young lady began a training regimen from hell alongside Tu Thon. 3,000-meter run to warm up. 1 hour of heavy bag striking. Then sit-ups and push-ups until her muscles screamed for mercy. After every sweat-soaked session, Tu Thon personally massaged her tired muscles. A romantic scene that made single dogs jealous. But the main objective was the upcoming tournament. He could not afford to sleep on his victory, to light up that cursed natural selection attribute as soon as possible. Tu Thon was ready to go to war. 1 month passed in a flash. The day of destiny arrived. The city stadium was packed like sardines with cheering fans. In the waiting room, Coach Quach held the bracket results with trembling hands, his face pale as a ghost. We are doomed, kids. In the very first round, we matched against the final boss, Sunhai High School, number 1. Thudong wanted to cry. Rumor has it they have a werewolf monster this year. He runs 100 meters in under 9 seconds. 1 kick from him will take your head off. We are finished. We will be turned into paste. While everyone despaired, Tu Thon stepped forward, his aura exploding. Coach, let me start the show. The coach and the team looked at him like he was an alien. Is he crazy? Well, let Tu Thon be the first sacrifice then. Behind him, Thon Ham and the coach screamed their lungs out. Tu Thon, you are the hope of our whole village, do not die. As soon as he stepped up, the opponent stomped the ground, shaking the arena like a magnitude 7 earthquake. He looked down at Tu Thon with pure arrogance. You hillbilly kid. I saw your file. A middle schooler daring to stand in the League of 8 schools. You have some serious guts. Not bad, kid. Your natural talent is actually decent. The big-mouth opponent tilted his head, shooting him a look of pure disdain. But let's be real, this playground is way out of your league. What can a middle schooler under 1.7 meters possibly achieve here? Let Big Brother teach you a lesson about the gap in our levels. But the referee's whistle cut off his trash talk instantly. Fight like a starving tiger. Big Mouth lunged forward the second the word was spoken. His fist tore through the air, aiming to crush the boy's face. He unleashed his killer move with total confidence, but the god of death drifted past him like a phantom, causing him to miss completely. What the hell? Before he could process the shock, a palm was already pressed against his chest. Boom, explosive force released. The giant was sent flying, coughing up a fountain of crimson mist mid-air. The referee, pale as a sheet, stammered out the verdict. Lin Zichen is the winner. On the sidelines, Qinghan was practically vibrating with joy. Little Chen, you are god tier. The martial arts team roared, chanting Zichen is supreme, but the crowd in the stands began to murmur with suspicion. Look at his muscles, they're stiff as wood. How could he possibly move with that kind of agility? Coach Chen Feng roared in fury, his voice shaking the entire stadium. Footwork, I said it was his footwork. How many times must I teach you? In the ring, you use your brain and your feet. Not just charge in like a brainless bull. Why are you all so thick-skulled? Ding. A golden system notification flashed before his eyes. Opponent defeated. His tournament ranking was skyrocketing instantly. That made 2 punching bags down nearly 1,000 to go. Zichen clenched his fist, feeling a surge of pride swelling in his chest. Indeed, farming experience points in high-stakes tournaments like this was the ultimate cheat code. His XP bar was practically dancing. The coach finished his rant and barked orders at the next disciple. Chen Feng, you're up next. Get in there and crush that wet behind-the-ears brat immediately. The disciple nodded, his face cold as stone. Master, rest assured. He took his stance, radiating intense killing intent. The moment the referee shouted start, Chen Feng struck like a bolt of lightning, a vicious sweeping kick aimed right at Zichen's head. But Zichen was no ordinary fighter. He ducked effortlessly, dodging the lethal blow and drove a palm strike into the opening in his opponent's ribs. Chen Feng spun like a top from the impact. A beautiful rainbow of blood sprayed from his nose as he flew through the air in agonizing pain. He slammed face first onto the mat in total humiliation. The referee panicked and rushed over. Medic, we need a stretcher now. That looks like severe head trauma. The spectators were losing their minds, their anger boiling over into shouts and curses. What the hell is going on? Did that kid from Shanghai High School eat a luck potion for breakfast? Why are his opponents throwing themselves off the stage? Is this a luck hack? Damn it, this is definitely match fixing. Refund our tickets. The opposing coach was pulling his hair out, sweating bullets. No, that wasn't luck. That middle schooler from Shanghai. He is a genuine martial artist. He gritted his teeth, calculating rapidly, then turned to his last hope. Cao Fei, you're up. Listen to me. Defend only. Do not attack blindly. If we lose this, I'm jumping off the roof. Cao Fei shoved his hands in his pockets, his nose in the air. Relax, Teach. You worry too much. I could beat him with one eye closed. Cao Fei stepped onto the ring with the swagger of someone who had never tasted the bitterness of defeat. Lin Zichen is nothing special, he just exploits the rules. I run the 100-meter dash in 9 seconds. I have the experience advantage. Once I actually get serious, does he really think he has a ghost of a chance? The audience began placing their bets again, everyone putting their money on the arrogant challenger. With that kind of confidence, the Shanghai kid is about to get logged out of the server. A middle schooler can't compare to the big boys. Maybe in a few years he'd have a shot. The referee raised his hand, shouting the command for the 3rd time. Fight begin. The second the words dropped, Cao Fei launched himself like a human missile, a cruel smirk plastered on his face. He unleashed the flowing water rock smashing fist, raining down blows like a storm, but Zichen danced through them like a feather in the wind. The coach on the sidelines nearly coughed up, blood screaming in despair. Cao Fei, what are you doing? I said. Defend. Why are you rushing to your death? Cao Fei ignored him completely, his ego soaring to the heavens. Defend. A genius like me needs no shield, but while he raged, Zichen analyzed him with terrifying calm. This fist technique isn't bad, actually. I think I'll copy-paste it for myself. The opponent gasped for air, his mana draining fast, panic setting in. Why? Can't I hit him? How is he dodging every single strike? This defies the laws of physics. Zichen stopped moving and looked at him with dead eyes. Is that it? Any other flashy moves to show me? Cao Fei's blood boiled with rage. He swung wildly. Don't you dare mock me, you brat. Zichen shook his head, deciding to end the farce. Just the same old boring tricks. I'm done playing. Game over. The entire stadium fell into a deathly silence, jaws hitting the floor. Meanwhile, the Shanghai team went absolutely wild. Little Chen, you are the peak. Absolute number 1. His martial brothers cheered, celebrating the birth of a legend. Shu Chen didn't even need to break a sweat as he casually crushed 3 opponents in a row. Winning without lifting a finger felt intoxicating. The next challenger was even more pathetic than the last. In the blink of an eye, Shu Chen single-handedly swept the entire 5-man squad from Shanghai No. 1 Middle School. The next 2 days became his personal stage. He soloed the remaining 2 schools, arrogantly leading Shanghai Middle School to the championship throne of the 8-school alliance. The system interface flashed a cold summary. Total enemies eliminated. 16 out of 1,000. Shu Chen's face hardened as he calculated. The path ahead was treacherous. With 984 opponents left, this natural selection quest would take years of grinding to complete. Although the long-term mission was a grind, short-term happiness arrived instantly. He never expected that, teacher. Guo would be so generous, handing him the lion's share of the prize money, a solid 20,000 yuan. Added to his academic savings, he now held a fortune of 30,000 yuan. However, that massive sum didn't even have time to warm his pockets before Shu Chen spent every last cent. Mother Yuan Xin watched her son devouring food like a starving beast and laughed. Little Chen, slow down. No one is fighting you for it. The system panel flashed a notification. Activation progress for the Ink Devil Shadow diagram had reached 13%. Chewing voraciously, he nodded in satisfaction. After annihilating 30 kilograms of Ink Devil Shadow meat, the unlock progress skyrocketed to 33%. By his 2nd year, Shu Chen achieved a terrifying leap in power. He broke through from Stage 3 to Stage 4, lifting 1,090 kilograms with ease, jumping 5.6 to 5 meters, and tearing through 100 meters in just 4.4 to 9 seconds. Time flew by like a fleeting arrow. In a blink, he and Shen Qinghan graduated middle school. But contrary to the festive atmosphere, she lay on her desk, buried in gloom. Why? I risked my life studying, but the results were still trash. Little Chen. Do we even have a chance to attend the same high school now? Very soon, the golden list of the high school entrance exam results was announced. Shu Chen domineeringly ranked first in the entire district for both academics and martial arts. Qinghan's grades were decent, but her martial arts score fell just short of the elite class threshold at Shanghai. Seeing his crybaby friend, he rushed over, gently wiping away the tears rolling down her cheeks. I haven't calculated my next move yet, but I heard the principal of Shanghai High wants to recruit me personally. Want to come help me seal the deal? Qinghan sobbed, pushing his hand away in frustration. The principal is rolling out the red carpet for a genius like you to join the elite martial arts class. What does that glory have to do with a failure like me? I'd just be a stumbling block in your way. Ignoring her struggles, Shu Chen grabbed her hand and dropped a legendary line. Don't worry. The only condition for me to nod at Shanghai is that I must sit at the same desk as you. Later at Shu Chen's home, the powerful principal had to lower herself debating for hours with the genius student. Her only goal was ensuring this monster would continue dedicating his talents to Shanghai High School. Before leaving, the principal turned back, her voice dripping with sincerity. Student Shu Chen, the negotiations are done. You've seen the school's goodwill. Regarding your final request, as long as you agree to wear the uniform of Shanghai, then name your price. Even if you want the stars from the sky, just ask and I will make it happen. Without hesitating a second, Shu Chen pointed at the girl shrinking in the corner. Thank you, Principal. I only have one humble wish. Shen Qinghan must be in the same class as me. The principal narrowed her eyes, assessing the girl. Ah, so this is classmate Shen Qinghan. She smiled with hidden meaning. When the new semester starts, you two just hold hands and report in together. Shu Chen and Qinghan looked at each other and shouted in unison, "Thank you, Principal." With the school matters settled, he casually joined the final martial arts tournament of his middle school career, and there were no plot twists. Monster Shu Chen carried the team on his back once again, helping his old school snatch the championship trophy like he was taking a walk in the park. Clutching the hot stack of prize money, he prioritized his unfinished ambition. He was only missing 20% to fully unlock the Ink Devil Shadow diagram. Converting this prize money into monster meat would definitely be enough to max out that progress bar. But fearing the unlock might trigger an earth-shattering phenomenon or cause him to lose control, he carefully retreated into the desolate wilderness outside the city. Shu Chen channeled his inner energy. His aura exploded. No more waiting. Let the fusion process begin. The system numbers jumped frantically, notifying him that a massive amount of Ink Devil Shadow essence had been devoured. The attribute panel glowed blindingly. Ink Devil Shadow 100%. He froze in shock for a few seconds before a new notification popped up. Congratulations, you have successfully unlocked the Ink Devil Shadow diagram. Acquired biological attribute Water Affinity. Significantly increases compatibility with the water element. Reading the description, a wave of disappointment crashed over him. What is this garbage? Why does Water Affinity sound so useless? I need to test this at the nearby pond immediately. After diving in, he realized his skin didn't wrinkle, even after submerging for ages, and the water resistance while swimming had vanished completely. But, is that it? No other god-tier effects? Then again, the Ink Devil Shadow is just a trash mob. Its genes probably have a low ceiling. If I want heaven-defying attributes, I just need to throw money at high-tier beast meat later. Sooner or later, I will ascend to godhood. Or, better yet, once I'm strong enough, I'll hunt those legendary beasts myself and turn them into my dinner. The mere mention of the mutated giant rat sent a chill through his veins. Death, God's gaze sharpened like a blade, his fist clenching with lethal resolve. With the new semester just a week away, the elders of both families finalized the ultimate vacation plan. A perfect getaway before the chaos begins. For Death God, this was not just a holiday. It was a golden opportunity to cultivate the way of water in the open ocean. Meanwhile, Qinghan was trembling like a leaf, terrified of the freezing depths. He pierced the water surface like a fired arrow, leaving behind words of wisdom for the rookie still standing dry on the shore. Just relax your body and embrace the flow. Once you get used to it, the sensation is so addictive, you will never want to leave. Ding, the system flooded his vision with notifications. Vitality, strength, coordination, and swimming mastery. Every single stat jumped up by 1 point. But Qinghan remained frozen on the sand, pouting with puppy eyes. Little God, do not abandon me. Come back here and teach me how to swim. Remembering his childhood friend was a total landlubber, he hit the brakes. He had no choice but to return and play the role of the devoted instructor. Watching her clumsy movements, he sighed internally. This was going to be a nightmare difficulty quest. Her athletic talent was practically non-existent. However, reality loves to slap you in the face when you least expect it. He was about to eat his words. With just a few strokes, she was gliding through the waves. Look, little God, why is this so easy? I became a master swimmer in a single breath. Before he could process the shock, she dove down and resurfaced like a mermaid queen, leaving him completely petrified. Aren't I amazing? People say salt water stings the eyes, but for me, it feels perfectly natural. No pain at all. In fact, it is refreshing. It feels like returning to my true home. He stroked his chin, dark lines forming on his forehead. Even with high water affinity mastering it, this instantly defied all logic of cultivation. This is absurd. Wait a minute. Could her history of bedwetting be a sign of innate god-tier water elemental talent? That crazy theory might actually hold water. Perhaps in her past life, she was an immortal cultivator with a supreme physique. The deep diving challenge began, and the results nearly made his eyes pop out of their sockets in sheer disbelief. Over 10 minutes submerged. Even elite special forces would drown, yet this rookie looked as comfortable as a fish in a tank. Suddenly, her ears twitched. Her gaze darted around frantically, searching for the source of a strange disturbance. An anomalous sound from the abyss. Sensing a terrifying killing intent, they immediately scrambled toward the shore to escape. What on earth was that? Bursting through the surface, they gasped for air, staring at each other in shock. He pressed for answers immediately. What happened down there? Why have you turned ghostly pale? She hugged herself, trembling violently. I heard it. A grotesque sound that sent shivers straight to my marrow. He pulled her into a comforting embrace to calm her spirit. Tell me exactly what you heard. She struggled to recall the memory. An alien language. A woman's voice. It echoed right next to my ear, terrifyingly real. It haunted me until the moment we broke the surface. Seeing her panic, he wasted no time getting her back to the hotel sanctuary. Afterward, he scoured the internet like a madman, but the mystery of the abyssal voice remained a complete dead end. Unable to sleep with such unease, he decided to vent his frustration through insane physical cultivation in the dead of night. Ding! The interface lit up. 1,000 weighted sit-ups completed. An unexpected evolutionary breakthrough achieved. He clenched his fist, feeling raw power surge through his veins. Common rank 5. A level strong enough to duel a mature mutant rat, one-on-one. At this rate, the fantasy of tearing that monster apart with his bare hands was becoming a tangible reality. Fresh from leveling up, he sneaked out to the deserted beach to test the limits of his new physique. Wind-breaking speed, 100 meters in just 3.64 seconds, a superhuman vertical leap of nearly 7 meters. A single arm possessed enough torque to lift a 1,600-kilogram car as if it were a feather. Compared to rank 4, this was a qualitative leap in power. With this tyrannical strength, he was ready to conquer high school. The moment he stepped into class, his aura magnetized everyone. Oh my, isn't that the campus god, Death God? How can someone be this devastatingly handsome? And we are on cleaning duty together. My luck is off the charts. He and Qinghan arrived early for duty, only to run into an enthusiastic fangirl from a past life. Surprisingly, the mundane task of sweeping triggered a hidden achievement. 1,000 cooperative missions completed. What kind of reward does the social animal trait grant? The curiosity was making him restless. With the semester just starting, he took a trip to the supermarket to gear up for his next tactical operation. The Phantom Ink was unlocked. Time to hunt. As he walked, his gaze locked onto an interesting artifact in the distance. Holding the Great Eagle model in his hand, his face relaxed into a smile of pure, maniacal excitement. This is the one, under that starry night, that terrifying shadow. The violent Great Eagle. His next deadly target had finally been marked. This beast's bloodline far surpasses the ghost shadow squid. With the divine eye ability and vision 30 times that of a human, it is truly a supreme predator of the skies. With those eyes, once it locks onto a target, even a prey moving as fast as a phantom shadow has zero chance of escaping the Reaper's claws. Zichen's gaze burned with intensity, locked onto the legs of the violent giant eagle, while a grand and ambitious plan began to take shape in his mind. If he could seize that tyrannical vision for himself, his combat prowess would skyrocket, transforming him into a true apex predator on the battlefield. There was no doubt about it. The genetic chart of this ferocious eagle was a treasure trove he absolutely had to unlock. But there was a catch, and the price was steep. 1,998 yuan for just 1 pound of this meat. Without hesitation, he activated his estimation skill. The cold mechanical voice of the system rang out crisp and clear. 1 pound of flesh would increase the chart, unlock progress by exactly 1%. Zichen ran the numbers and cold sweat instantly drenched his back. If 1% equals 1 pound, divided by unlocking the violent giant eagle completely, would cost him over 200,000 yuan. Tears welled up in his eyes as he clenched his fists in determination. The only path to riches now was to put his life on the line in the high school tournament. Fortunately, the prize money in the high school arena was far more juicy than back in middle school. This was his one true chance to change his destiny. The target was set. Before his second year began, he swore a solemn oath to conquer the power of this monstrous bird. Time flew like an arrow. The brief summer break came to an end, and the gates of the high school threw themselves open to welcome the new blood. On that fateful morning at Shanghai Academy, the atmosphere was boiling with intensity as a lineup of elite instructors stepped onto the podium. Greetings, students. I am Han Yuan Feng, your homeroom teacher and martial arts instructor. His voice boomed with overwhelming authority. Next came Master Tai regarding mechanical modification, and Master Liu, the expert in gene fusion, each radiating an oppressive aura of power. Finally, there was Master Cheng Pei, the one who would lead them through the blood-soaked survival courses in the wilderness. The display of dominance by the teachers concluded, and now the stage was handed over to the rookies to introduce themselves. The classroom atmosphere instantly buzzed with life, as a beautiful girl with purple hair stood up, flashing a radiant smile that stole the spotlight. Hello class, I am Chu Yushi. My specialty is the 4 arts of zither, chess, calligraphy, and painting. Please take care of me. Right after her, a vibrant girl with pink hair jumped up with equal enthusiasm. I am Zhang Yijia, anime fanatic, cosplay queen, and sports lover. A boy with blue hair refused to be outdone, declaring loudly, I am Peng Huoguang, a student by day but a professional gamer by night. As the introductions cycled through, the pressure eventually crashed down onto the trembling shoulders of the shy Shen Qinghan. With dozens of eyes boring into her, Qinghan shook like a frightened rabbit, stuttering to find her voice. Hello, everyone. I am Shen Qinghan. I like to draw. She gulped nervously, forcing out the final words. Please, please treat me kindly. Then came Zichen's turn. He stood up with the cool composure of a true protagonist, planning the most concise and impactful introduction in history. Greetings. I am Lin Zichen. I look forward to your guidance. Short, sharp, and radiating an aura that left the class in awe. The lesson passed in the blink of an eye. But the moment the recess bell rang, trouble immediately came knocking for Qinghan. Hey Qinghan, how many points did you score on the entrance exam? A high-pitched voice sliced through the air, dripping with curiosity. Qinghan startled and turned around, stammering a reply to Chu Xin. Ah, I got 709 points. What about you? Hearing this, Chu Xin let out a dramatic scream of envy mixed with admiration. Heavens! Are you a monster? 10 points higher than me? I only got 698. But instantly, she switched her target to the real attack. What about the physical fitness test? I was so unlucky I only got 95 points. It's tragically low. Hearing those fake humble words, Qinghan broke into a cold sweat. 95 out of 100 is low. This was clearly a top student flexing on the weak. She could only offer an awkward smile to dodge the bullet. Yeah, I'm not as talented as you. Inside, Qinghan was screaming in embarrassment. She had only scored 79 points, 11 points below the elite class standard. If she admitted that she would lose all face, but Chu Xin was like a starving leech that wouldn't let go, her eyes gleaming as she pressed on. So what was it really? Come on, tell me. 94? 93? Qinghan lowered her head, her voice barely a whisper in her throat. A bit. Lower than that. So is it 92 or 90 dot? Chu Xin pushed harder, crossing the line of decency. Suddenly slam. A hand crashed onto the desk, cutting the interrogation short. Chu Xin jumped in fright and spun around, coming face to face with Zichen's handsome features at point-blank range. Hey classmate, mind if I get your contact info? Ambushed by a handsome guy, Chu Xin's face turned beet red as she stuttered. Huh. Oh, sure, let me scan your code. She was so elated, her legs felt weak, thinking her romance luck had finally skyrocketed. To think, the class heartthrob approached her first. Qinghan stared at Zichen's back, so moved she almost cried. Her savior had arrived. Without his intervention, she would have dug a hole and buried herself from shame. Zichen seized the momentum, turning to the other classmates with a friendly smile. Ah, you joined the group chat too. Let's make it lively. He raised his phone with excitement. You got it, brother. Let's scan. After that god-tier social maneuver, Zichen successfully created a 4-person group chat, but the biggest surprise was unknowingly triggering a hidden event. The system immediately flashed a blinding golden notification. Congratulations, host. You have completed the 4-person team cooperation mission. Completion criteria for team missions. Toothen smirked internally. Please. This was child's play, something he could clear with a lazy wave of his hand. The 4-man squad formed instantly. First up was Ha Vu from the Southern District. A true martial artist by blood born from a legendary lineage of dojo masters. You could smell the elite aura on him. He walked the path of the warrior with every step a textbook young master. He once snatched 8th place at the City Youth Martial Arts Tournament. That accolade alone brought endless glory to his clan. Then there was Li So Tam, a hidden tycoon. Her family ruled the fashion empire that dominated the entire district. Tham Thon Ham and I completed the formation. The chemistry was electric. We vibed like old comrades, chatting about everything under the heavens. Just as the meeting seemed to end, Havu dropped a bomb of a topic that grabbed everyone's attention instantly. He slapped his chest, challenging us. Guess who is the true apex predator in this class? I bet none of you have a clue. So, Tam didn't hesitate for a second. She had her answer ready, firing it off like a reflex. It has to be Toothan, the district entrance. King Havu's eyes popped out. Seriously, Toothan is that kind of monster. But the academic top scorer might not be the combat king. The truth. It might just blow your minds. The principal spent a fortune recruiting 2 absolute demons from the south. Their stats are off the charts. First, Vuong Thu Kiet. 3rd desk by the window. He looks calm, but his killing intent is real. The southern top scorer. He sprints 100 meters in 7.98 seconds. He is literally lightning in human form. And that giant in the back, Lu Kuang, born with divine strength, he benches 300 kilograms like it's a feather. Thonham nodded in awe. You had to admit those specs sounded legendary. So Tam gasped. Are they even human? Meanwhile, Toothan just let out a bored sigh. He thought it was something serious. 8 seconds, 300 kilos, please. That was his power level back in elementary school. The bell shattered the tension. It was time for the sacred distribution of knowledge. 4 ultimate manuals were handed down: Martial Dao, Gene, Fusion, Mech Modification, and Wild Survival. Toothen glanced at the covers. He had mastered these arts ages ago. He just needed a quiet spot to grind XP. However, he couldn't relax completely. The shadow of the rat god cult still hung over him like a curse. The authorities only caught the small fry. The true boss, the Rat King, was still lurking in the abyss. His goal was absolute break through the 6th stage. Only then could he solo those bloodthirsty mutant rats and survive. Afternoon arrived. The survival training arc began with a bang. Instructor Trinboy stood before the dry wood, his eyes piercing through the naive students like a hawk. He barked a challenge. "Which one of you can summon fire using the ancient friction method?" Havu groaned, scratching his head. "Sensei, it's the digital age. Why are we learning caveman skills?" But instantly, the 2 southern monsters, Thu Kiet and Lu Kuang, sprang into action. A total face slap to Havu. Havu's jaw hit the floor. "What the hell?" The instructor grilled, "Behold true experts in action. Look at that technique, flames in seconds, absolute perfection." Luke Kuang reported, in his voice booming with the pride of a prepared warrior. "Sir, I underwent hell training last summer," Thu Kiet smirked, "and I mastered this online back in grade school." Their dominance lit a fire under the whole class. Everyone scrambled to copy their moves immediately. Tu then secretly guided his team to success. Suddenly, Instructor Vian Fong entered the arena. "Silence. Today I will teach you the breath of the dragon to cultivate your inner core." Once again, it became the Southern Duo show. They shouted in unison, "Sir, we have already mastered this art." They were show-offs, sure, but their talent was undeniable. The whole class looked up to them like idols. Tu Then could crush them easily. But he followed the code: a true dragon hides its claws. No need to expose his power yet. 1 month flew by in a blur. Headmaster Nguyen Phi stood before the class, gravity in his expression. He adjusted his glasses and dropped the bombshell. "The upcoming exam has a bounty. First place takes 888 credits. Second place, 666. Third, 333. Tuthan's eyes glowed. He smelled profit. 888. That's a fortune. Enough to buy half a kilo of tyrant dragon meat for cultivation. Fueled by greed, the class attacked the test papers like demons. 1 hour later, judgment hour arrived. Duke Nan held the fate of the students in his hands. It was time to reveal who the true king of the classroom really was. As if orchestrated by a cruel fate, the gene fusion instructor launched his own assault. A test straight from the depths of hell with a reward to match. After suffering through this double mental torture, Ha Yu collapsed his soul, seemingly escaping his physical body. He looked like a drained husk. With his last breath, he whispered, "Finally, the nightmare is over." Wails of despair echoed through the classroom. What kind of demonic questions were those laser energy wavelengths? Are you kidding me? Who could possibly memorize that dry theory? The whole class nodded in grim solidarity, resentment boiling over the sadistic difficulty. But that wasn't the worst of it. The final question was a slap in the face to every student present. Calculating the relationship between gas resistance and pressure. Damn it. With that many decimals, even a god couldn't calculate it in time. Another student groaned in defeat. "I was aiming for 90, but now 60 points would be a blessing from the ancestors." While the commoners lamented their fate, the so-called twin heroes of Namquan City began their usual performance. Shu Jie leaned against the window, posing like a model. "That was a bit tricky." "Lu Gang, how did you fare?" His partner smirked with calculated arrogance. "Around 95, I suppose." Only the final sub-question was slightly thorny, and you, Lu Gang, asked back. "Same here," Shu Jie replied instantly. "Just stuck on the tail end. 95 is practically in the bag." Ha Yu heard their humble bragging, and his expression darkened instantly. Unbelievable. Look at them acting like movie stars again. Do they die if they don't show off? It's repulsive. I just want to punch that smug look off their faces. Moments later, the instructor entered with the judgment papers. The air grew heavy with tension. "Students, the mechanical improvement scores are hot off the press. Guo Yanling 52, Shen Qinghan 61. Qinghan beamed, whispering excitedly to the boy beside her. "Zichen, I passed," he replied coolly. "Heaven rewards the diligent." The teacher continued, "Ha Yu, 88 points. The class gasped, turning to look at the class clown in shock. "No way, Ha Yu, you were hiding your true power." The teacher nodded in approval. "Well done. I have high expectations for you." Ha Yu felt a sudden surge of adrenaline. "Pure luck, I just memorized the right pages." He turned to his crew. "Boys, wait for it. Once I bag that third-place prize of 333 yuan, drinks are on me." Immediately after, the teacher smiled, ready to announce the scores of the class stars. Lu Gang 95. Wang Shuji 95. Outstanding work. You only missed perfection by a hair on the final question. Shu Ji crossed his arms, declaring loudly, "Teacher, that calculation was a beast. Give me 10 more minutes and I would have crushed it." Lu Gang chimed in. "Same here." The teacher nodded with pride. "I believe in your abilities." How Yu shot daggers at them with his eyes. Damn it. They found another chance to polish their egos. Whatever. Let them talk. That third place money is still mine. Suddenly, the teacher's voice cut through his greed. This test was brutally hard. You might not believe it, but there is a monster in this class who achieved a perfect score. Lin Zichen. A perfect 100. The elite's eyes nearly popped out of their skulls. 100. That's scientifically impossible. What kind of exam is this? It defies logic. At that moment, Zichen sat there like a descended deity, his aura blinding. Poor Hayu. Even the notorious geniuses of Namquan City were completely crushed under his heel. Lin Zichen is on another level. But wait. Hayu wept internally. He stole my third-place prize. I'll never celebrate early again. Qinghan sighed in admiration. Zichen, you're amazing. Sushin added, truly a dragon amongst men. Zichen's expression didn't flicker. He raised a hand, cutting through the praise. Teacher, about that 888 yuan first prize. When do I get paid? The teacher replied, seriously, relax. I'll send the red packet to the group chat. It's not going anywhere. Internally, the teacher's sweat dropped. This kid. A peerless genius, yet so obsessed with money. Is his family that poor? An hour later, the gene fusion scoreboard was unveiled. The tension returned. Instructor Yuan Fei took the stage. Settle down. The final verdict is here. The Nam Quan duo, Lu Gang 81 points, Wang Shujie 83 points. With a test where most failed, these scores were dominant. The two arrogant youths grinned, unable to hide their smug satisfaction. Shen Qinghan also secured an impressive 78 landings, safely in the top 5. But the true horror was Zichen. Once again, he swept the board with a perfect score, claiming all the prize money. Hayu and the rivals were left in absolute shock. Shu Ji looked like he was attending a funeral. He raised a hand, challenging the teacher's integrity. That test was impossible. How could anyone get a perfect score? Lu Gang jumped in. I suspect someone leaked the questions, sir. Instructor Yuan Fei's voice dropped an octave. Never. That is an absolute impossibility. He enunciated every word clearly. Every single question came from my own brain. Google doesn't even know the answers. Accept your defeat with dignity. The brutal truth crashed down like a meteor, shattering the fragile egos of Shu Jie and Lu Gang. The two stood there, frozen in shock, screaming internally. What kind of sorcery is this? Are we hallucinating? Hayu sat on the sidelines enjoying the show and winking at Chu Xin. This comedy is top tier. Just admit you're trash, instead of making excuses. Suspecting cheating, please. You're just embarrassing the entire male gender right now. Chu Xin added the final blow. Exactly, that Wang Shujie is nothing but a petty villain. A spineless clown who only knows how to stir up trouble. Time flew by like an arrow. The short lunch break vanished. Class 1 was about to face the wilderness survival trial. Cheng Pei announced the rules with authority. The rewards for this survival test were just as tempting as the academic ones. First place would take 88 yuan, second place 666 yuan, and third 333 yuan. The exam consisted of 3 death-defying stages: mountain climbing combined with tree scaling, obstacle swimming, and finally, the primal skill of starting a fire with wood friction. The moment the rules were set, Shuji turned to conspire with Lu Gang. Listen, brother, we took a humiliating loss in theory this morning, but this afternoon is our domain. Physical strength and martial arts. We must reclaim our lost face, no matter the cost. Fire burned in Lu Gang's eyes as he growled. Don't remind me. I swear I'll crush him. I will wash away the shame of this morning with his defeat. In a heartbeat, the whistle blew. The war had begun. First stage, climbing. Speed was king. Lin Zichen launched himself like a hurricane, seizing first place while leaving everyone dumbfounded. Just as predicted, the so-called twin heroes were left eating my dust. They couldn't even see my taillights. The two of them were so furious they nearly coughed up blood. Is he kidding me? Does Lin Zichen have an engine in his legs? We put our lives on the line, yet we can't even see his shadow. Just then, the loudspeaker announced the results. It was like rubbing salt into their open wounds. Lin Zichen claimed the climbing throne. However, I felt no joy in this victory. My heart was heavy with worry for Shen Qinghan. All my attention shifted. My eyes were locked solely on her. Shen Qinghan was still struggling on the climb. Coming in last place was inevitable for her right now. But it didn't matter. The swimming stage was her kingdom. Shen Qinghan would shine like a star there and recover her momentum in the fire-starting round. To secure the prize money, I just had to keep destroying the twin heroes. The two of them were grinding their teeth in frustration. Why is this Lin Zichen fast as lightning at everything? His hand speed is heaven-defying. He wasn't this domineering during the fire practice class. Lin Zichen successfully ignited the fire. A record time 58 seconds. And now swimming was the final hurdle. This time Shen Qinghan was like a dragon returning to the sea. She completely crushed the twin heroes, dealing a massive psychological blow that left them dizzy. Xu Ji and Lu Gang were forced to swallow another bitter pill. This is unreal. Lin Zichen, being a monster, is one thing. But since when did Shen Qinghan possess such explosive, terrifying power? Impossible. We must be hallucinating from the pressure. After such a tragic defeat, the two arrogant youths fell into a deep depression, silent as the grave. In exchange, I enjoyed a rare, peaceful afternoon. The scene shifted to the massive gymnasium. Han Yuanfeng roared, bringing the formation to order. You've trained for over a month. Today we separate the dragons from the worms. The test is direct combat in the arena. The top 3 will be heavily rewarded. Show me what you're made of. Hearing this, the eyes of the defeated duo lit up again. Martial arts was their final lifeline. Their last chance to salvage a shred of dignity. Like they had injected pure adrenaline. Lu Gang and Xu Jie burned with fighting spirit. So what if they lost in theory and survival? In this martial arts class, the fist is the only truth. Physical dominance and superior technique rule the world. If your kung fu is trash, everything else is meaningless. I will reclaim the #1 spot in this duel. Before the real beatdown began, Han Yuanfeng ordered a physical assessment, a warm-up to test our limits. The instructor loudly announced the required metrics. 3 categories: 100-meter sprint, single-arm weightlifting, and the standing vertical jump. Lin Zichen's results: 100 meters in 7.7 to 8 seconds. Lifted 330 jin. Jumped 2.1 to 8 meters. First place in all 3 stats. To avoid being labeled an alien monster, I had to suppress my true power significantly. Because of that, these results were only slightly better than Wang Shujie and Lu Gang. The two youths stared at the scoreboard, jaws dropping to the floor, their brains short-circuited. He's faster than me. How is that possible when he was only top of the district in middle school? This defies all logic. Is his aura thicker than mine? Lin Zichen doesn't even look that muscular. Did he have a delayed puberty growth spurt? Xu Jie panicked, trying to comfort Lu Gang. Lu Gang, stay calm, don't panic. Losing in stats isn't everything. Technique is what kills. Lu Gang gripped his shoulder, eyes burning with resolve. Listen, brute force is nothing compared to true mastery. The path to victory is still open to us. Failing the physical exam, that's just a warm-up. When it comes to actual combat technique, we are in a league of our own. The atmosphere in the arena turned scorching hot. Inside Zichen's mind, the gears of destiny began to turn. It was time to calculate the most efficient path to victory. To unlock the natural selection achievement, I have no choice. I must dominate this ring and become the undisputed king. However, his physical stats were simply too monstrous. His presence alone was a deterrent. Who would be foolish enough to offer themselves as a sacrifice? Even the infamous non-Guan duo, usually so arrogant. They froze in their tracks, reduced to mere spectators. The hesitation infuriated the instructor. His voice boomed like thunder. Stop stalling, Lu Wei. Get up there and warm up with Zichen. Now. They took their stances instantly. But alas, with a single casual wave of his hand, Zichen sent his classmate flying straight out of the arena. He dusted off his hands, his expression ice cold. Apologies, but time is a luxury I don't have. I need to end this quickly. One by one, challengers fell before him in the blink of an eye. Come at me all at once if you want. I need to clear this entire map before the final bell rings. Xu Ji's face went deathly pale, sweat pouring like rain. Is this an illusion? Since when did the bookworm Zichen become a warlord? Beside him, Lu Gang turned to stone. Terror gripped him so tightly that the cup in his hand tipped over. He didn't even notice the water soaking his pants. His soul had completely left his body. That monster, he was hiding his true power all along. The physical test was just an act. How can mere mortals compete with that? Breaking the heavy silence, Yu leaped onto the stage, brimming with confidence. Lu Gang, stop hiding. I'm at my peak right now. Fight me if you dare. Lu Gang grabbed this lifeline instantly. He roared as he jumped into the ring. You have a big mouth. 30 seconds, that's all I need to send you packing. Internally, he thanked the heavens. Thank God. I actually have a chance against this guy. Fighting that monster, Zichen, would be a one-way ticket to the hospital. Yu didn't waste a second. With a battle cry of take this, he launched himself like a human arrow. He unleashed a flurry of kicks, creating afterimages around Liu Gang. But Liu Gang stood immovable, like a statue weathering a storm. Suddenly, Liu Gang caught the opponent's leg with the grip of a vice. With superhuman strength, he spun He Yu around like a toy. Get lost. He Yu was hurled from the ring, landing hard on his backside. The world spun, and he emptied his stomach in sheer humiliation. Liu Gang smirked, brushing back his hair with arrogance. He Yu, I must admit. Of all the losers I've crushed, you were the most durable. I'll acknowledge your brute strength as top tier. But your technique? It's green. Pathetically green. Before the celebration could finish, Zichen landed softly on the mats. An overwhelming aura filled the room. Impressive. Now shall we dance? Let's keep this momentum going. Liu Gang gulped his legs, trembling. But there was no retreat. Fine, who's afraid? Let's settle this, once and for all. Ultimate secret technique. Liu Gang exploded with speed, unleashing a lightning-fast combo aimed straight at Zichen. Impossible Zichen simply swayed, dodging the strikes like he was taking a stroll. Panic seized Liu Gang's heart. Damn it. What kind of godlike speed is this? Game over. One punch, with a single simple strike. Liu Gang was launched off the stage like a kite with a cut string. The arena erupted. The crowd turned their frenzy toward the remaining elite. Wang Shujie, your blood brother just got destroyed. Are you just going to sit there, take revenge? Yeah. The honor of the Nanguan top students rests on you. Stop being a coward and make him pay in blood. Cornered Shujie leaped up, snapping at the audience. Shut your mouths. I was just about to go up. I don't need you fools telling me what to do. Standing before Zichen felt like facing a towering mountain. Calm down. Destiny rewards the patient. I just need to find one fatal opening. He wasted no more time. Shujie charged forward like a moth flying into a flame. Gritting his teeth, he channeled every ounce of his life force into his fist. A strike of pure desperation, but the difference in realms was absolute. Zichen caught the blow as if it were a feather. His other hand clenched air pressure, exploding around it. Boom! Zichen's thunderous punch connected squarely with Shujie's face. His head snapped back at an angle that defied anatomy. Absolute knockout. Shujie hit the floor, eyes white, foaming at the mouth. But Zichen didn't stop. He swept through the rest like a Category 5 hurricane. The next challenger stepped up only to faint from a gentle tap on the neck. Pitiful. Truly pitiful. The stage became a graveyard of fallen warriors. But the accursed system had a rule. No farming experience points from the same opponent twice. That meant the only targets left were the delicate female students. Surely they won't want to fight. Zichen looked down, expecting fear. Instead, he saw blushing faces and eyes sparkling with admiration. Was he hallucinating? Suddenly, Chu Yushi raised her hand high, her voice trembling with excitement. Student Zichen, I volunteer as tribute. I want to challenge you. She vaulted onto the stage with surprising grace. Zichen activated his phantom step, gliding behind her. A gentle tap on the back signaled the end of the match. He nodded silently. Good speed. Meanwhile, Chu Yushi bit her lip in regret. So close, I almost got to hug the handsome idol. The floodgates opened. The other girls swarmed the stage like moths to a light. Zichen broke into a cold sweat. I have to be gentle. A gentleman doesn't harm ladies. But I still need to complete this quest. In a flash, he defeated the legion of girls. Yet the mission progress bar barely crawled forward. The path of cultivation is truly a treacherous and lonely road. Just when the class expected a boring lecture, Instructor Han dropped a tactical nuke of an announcement. Your performance was adequate. But listen up, you so-called elites. It is time to set your sights on a higher peak. In exactly 1 month, we declare war on the strongest regular class of the 11th grade. You had better prepare your souls for battle. The objective is simple. Utterly crush the upperclassmen. Hearing this, a devilish smirk finally curved Lin Zichen's lips. Finally. I was rotting away with no one to test my fists on. I was bored to death. To speed up my natural selection quest, this tournament is a godsend. It is like someone handed a pillow to a sleepy man. With that roar, the instructor dismissed the class. Liu Gang stepped into Zichen's personal space, radiating menace. I thought entering Shanghai meant the great Liu family would stand alone at the summit. But it seems I have severely underestimated this academy. Mark my words. From today on, you are my sworn rival for these 3 years. Tragically, Zichen did not hear a single word. His brain was already running complex calculations on something else. With Old Han's chaotic schedule, I can definitely complete the natural selection mission within a year. Easy money. Even Shuji charged in with burning determination. Lin Zichen. Just because I lost today does not mean that I will accept defeat forever. Before we graduate, I will return today's humiliation with interest. But alas, Zichen was floating in a paradise of mission rewards and cold hard cash. The scent of money was just too sweet. He did some quick mental math. I pocketed over 3,000 yuan today alone. What an absolute steal. Seeing him walk away without a glance, the two rivals nearly exploded from rage. He dares to ignore us and smirk. That guy's arrogance reaches the heavens. Oblivious to the drama, Zichen clenched his fist in pure joy. With this cash stack, I can finally afford beast meat. Life is beautiful. Night descended and Shanghai City transformed into a glittering ocean of neon lights. Back in his room, Zichen's fingers danced across the keyboard as he plotted his next move. The prize money is nice, but it is a drop in the bucket for beast meat and unlocking the star map. Desperate times call for desperate measures. I will have to write web novels to put food on the table. Suddenly, a sharp notification chime pierced the silence. An unknown sender. Greetings. I am an editor for the platform. Your novel is incredibly addictive. We would like to offer you an exclusive author contract immediately. Waking up to a contract offer. Now that is how you start a legendary day. But as he logged in to sign, a breaking news alert flashed red on his screen. 2 hours ago, suburban cold storage facility attacked by a mutated giant rat. The image showed a nightmare made of fur and teeth. A beast spanning 5 meters in length. It was so savage, it bit a mechanized cyborg in half with a single chomp. In a final act of defiance, the cyborg detonated his hidden energy core. He dragged the beast down to hell with him in a glorious explosion. Zichen narrowed his eyes, sensing a deeper conspiracy. Just how many of these abominations were lurking beneath the foundations of Shanghai City? How does a monster that size stay hidden underground? It makes no sense. What kind of dark corner did they crawl out of? The next day at the Shanghai Arena, the fateful skirmish against regular Class 52 was about to begin. Instructor Han gathered his main force for a war council. His voice dropped to a grave whisper as he addressed the solo duelists. Listen closely to the battle plan. Their top-tier combatants cannot match our aces. However, in terms of overall average strength, they are a tier above us. They will rely on their numbers to overwhelm you. Expect them to play defensive and use a wheel battle tactic to drain your stamina dry. Therefore, the moment you step into that ring, you must end it instantly. Strike hard and strike fast. Do I make myself clear? The quartet roared in unison. Sir, yes, sir. Barely a second later, a shadow vaulted onto the stage with overflowing confidence. Zichen shouted for all to hear. Instructor Han, let me take the vanguard position for this opening battle. His inner calculator was clicking furiously. I need to speedrun the natural selection quest. The more weaklings I smash, the better the rewards. The female student from Class 52 turned pale as a ghost. Teacher. He is the monster of the elite class. I am ranked dead last. You want me to fight times that asterisk? The opposing instructor whipped around, furious at Vian Fong. Hey Fong. The rules clearly state weakest first, strongest last. Why are you unleashing your final boss in the very first round? That is a blatant violation of the code. Vian Fong awkwardly waved his hand. Zichen, get down, get down. Let the others have the spotlight first. Zichen pouted, his easy XP farming plan ruined. Fine. Immediately, Vian Fong barked his next order. Yun Tong. You go first and open fire. The named girl jumped, looking like a deer in headlights. But, sir, I am mentally not ready for this kind of pressure. In that moment of hesitation, Qinghan stepped forward, her voice trembling but firm. Instructor Han, my power level is the lowest. Perhaps I should take the lead. The instructor's eyes gleamed with approval. He nodded instantly. Stepping onto the fighting stage, Thanham felt her soul leave her body. Panic seized her heart. The pressure was crushing her shoulders like a mountain. From the sidelines, the dynamic duo Sortam and Havu roared until their throats burned. Ham fight. Turn that senior into paste for me. Her face went deathly pale, terror paralyzing her mind. Suddenly, the opponent from Class 52 launched a blitzkrieg assault. A storm of strikes rained down upon her. Trapped in the eye of the storm, Thanham froze. In a desperate gamble, she raised her arms, creating a fragile shield against the onslaught. Her body screamed in pain, but her will remained unbroken. I can't win this fight, but I can be a human shield. I have to drain every drop of her stamina. 3 minutes passed. The senior's breath came in ragged gasps, sweat pouring down. This girl is a cockroach. If I keep this up, I'll collapse first. I need to end this now. Her gaze sharpened like a blade as she gathered her remaining strength. Unleashing a thunderous palm strike, Thanham flew backward like a broken kite launched right out of the arena. She hit the ground with a painful thud. Face burning with shame, she scurried back to Vianfong and Tuthun like a puppy that made a mess. But Vianfong just smiled gently. Thanham, well done. You traded offense for defense to drain the enemy. A brilliant tactical sacrifice. Tu Thun also patted her head. Not bad. Lasting 3 minutes against a senior with over a year of cultivation. That is nothing short of a miracle. Just then, another rookie leaped onto the stage, bursting with unearned confidence to challenge the exhausted senior. She sneered internally. That old hag is gasping for air. This is my golden chance to steal the kill and take all the glory. She launched a finisher kick with blinding speed. But she missed. The senior sidestepped with the ghostly grace of a phantom. Zero wasted movement. She countered instantly, driving a straight punch right into the rookie's face. The senior mounted her like a predator, locking her down tight. The first year screamed in agony, tapping the floor frantically. It hurts. Let go. I yield. The senior smirked coldly. All attack and no defense? Did you really think you could look down on the ordinary class? My talent might be lower, but I've eaten more rice and taken more hits than you have in your entire life. Train for another year before you try to show off in front of a master. The rookie gritted her teeth in bitter silence, utterly humiliated. Suddenly, a terrifying killing intent exploded. Sortom marched onto the stage, fists clenched. Hom, watch me settle this score. Senior or not, she's going down. The moment she finished speaking, she became a blur. Sir Tom unleashed a lightning-fast strike, slamming directly into her opponent. The senior collapsed like a house of cards. Below, Thon Hom jumped for joy. Sir Tom, you're my idol. That was epic. Tu Thun stood stoically beside her. Don't forget you deserve half the credit. If you hadn't drained her stamina bar to 0 first, Sir Tom wouldn't be winning that easily. It was a team effort. 2 hours later, the Class 52 instructor grinned triumphantly. Instructor Fong, you're down to 4 students. Get your wallet ready. You're treating us to dinner tonight. Vian Fong smirked. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. The real show is just starting. But internally he was calculating. Lum Thu Thun, Vung Tu Kiet, Lup Guong, and Havu. These were the 4 pillars. The true monsters of Class 1. The real war begins now. He turned his voice commanding. Havu. It's showtime. Havu shot onto the stage like a missile. Finally, my fists were getting itchy, ready to eat dirt. Senior. The second-year opponent tilted his head in disdain. Kid, stop watching anime. You still smell like breast milk and you want to play hero. Talk is cheap. Havu didn't waste breath on a retort. He launched a high kick straight to the face. The senior roared. You dare sucker punch me, you ARGH. Before he could finish, he was launched out of the ring. Instant knockout. Havu stood tall, dusting off his hands. Is that it? Trying to lecture me with skills like that? Empty vessels really do make the most noise. You trash. A massive student stomped onto the stage, leaking killing intent from every pore. He cracked his knuckles, the sound like gunshots. Brat. You've gone too far. I'm going to teach you some manners. He charged like a starving tiger. But Havu sidestepped effortlessly as if taking a stroll in the park. The brute's eyes bulged. What the hell? He's too fast. How is he dodging my attacks like it's a game? 2H-A-M. A razor-sharp hook kick to the jaw. The giant crashed to the floor like a felled ancient tree, unconscious before he hit the ground. Below, Thon Ham and Sir Tom screamed like fangirls. Havu is invincible. That was amazing. Sweep the floor with them. Havu's bloodlust only grew. He transformed into a combat machine. 1 punch, 1 kill. Blasting opponents off the stage one by one. He smashed a fist into a face, rearranging the guy's features. Havu roared in ecstasy. Next, send the next one. You're all too weak. His fighting spirit was blazing, but the body has limits. After a 5-kill streak, his breathing grew chaotic. His stamina tank was blinking red. Panting heavily, he screamed, "Where is he? I'll take 10 more of you." But by the 6th opponent, he hit his limit. Reluctantly, he was forced to retire from the field. The situation was grim. Class 1 had only 3 warriors left standing. The second-year block still had 13 hungry wolves waiting. Vian Fong's voice cut through the noise. Vung Tu Kiet. You're up, like a wild beast released from its cage. Tu Kiet charged. His fist rose, carrying the weight of absolute destruction. Present Wang Shujie roared like a tiger. He crushed 10 opponents in a row, but even a beast has limits. By the 11th fight, his stamina bar hit 0. Lu Gang stepped into the fray. This guy moved like greased lightning. In less than 10 minutes, he sent their last 2 generals packing. One ate a gut-wrenching punch. The other took a high kick straight to the face, flying backward like a kite. Vian Fong smirked victory, practically written on his forehead. He turned to provoke Class 52's teacher. Only 1 pawn left. Why not surrender and save face? But the old fox stayed calm, hands in his pockets. No rush, he said coldly. Get up there, Wang Jinhei. Show them what a real nightmare looks like. Boom. The floor shook. Jinhei stepped out like a mountain of flesh, his massive shadow swallowing Lu Gang whole. Present, Lu Gang scoffed, dropping into his stance. His eyes screamed contempt. Scary, please. You're just a walking sandbag with extra lard. I'll flatten you. Lu Gang unleashed a thunderous strike to the chest. Thud. But he froze. It felt like punching a giant marshmallow. His force simply vanished. Panic set in, Lu Gang roared and unleashed a storm of fists, raining blows upon his opponent's chest. After a futile workout, Lu Gang gasped for air drenched in sweat. Damn it, his fat is absolute defense. My attacks aren't doing a thing. Jinhei smirked, dusting himself off. Done tickling me, little bro. If you're finished, it's my turn. Swoosh. Jinhei's massive hand clamped around Lu Gang's neck like a vice. Terror flooded Lu Gang's eyes. Can't. Breathe. This monster's strength. It's unreal. And then, whoosh, Lu Gang was launched off the stage like a ragged doll. Vianfeng's smile died instantly. He turned to the rival teacher, stammering impossible. Since when did your class have a monster like that? The old teacher grinned, his face dripping with smug satisfaction. Sorry about that. He's our new trump card transferred this semester. Looks like this match is already over for you. Don't forget our little bet. Better get your wallet ready to treat my whole class to a feast. Vianfeng screamed internally, tears flowing backward. I'm doomed. He hid this tank too well. Even Lin Zichen can't pierce that kind of armor. Careless, I walked right into that old fox's trap. Defeated, he patted Zichen's shoulder. Zichen, you're up. Just treat it as a learning experience. Don't worry about winning or losing. But the boy flashed a dazzling smile, eyes burning with resolve. Relax, Teacher Han. I've got this. As Zichen stepped up, Jinhe scanned him from head to toe. This beanpole is their top fighter. Look at you, skinny as a twig, he sneered. Hey kid, I'm a gentleman. I don't want people saying I bullied the weak. Instantly, the fangirls erupted in rage. Hey, fatty. Shut your trap. Our handsome Zichen is going to destroy you. You giant pig, just wait until he turns you into a meat bun. Go Zichen. Teach that pig a lesson. Their words stabbed Jinhei's pride like 1,000 tiny daggers. He forced a smile, twitching. Fine then. Just so your fans don't say I bullied you. Zichen chuckled, nodding along. Sure, whatever you say, big guy. Jinhei slapped his massive belly, shouting heroically, I won't move an inch. Use all your power and hit me right here. If you insist, Zichen didn't hesitate. He channeled pure power into his fist and unleashed a thunderclap against Jinhei's chest. Kaboom! The force was so insane, the giant spun in the air like a helicopter before crashing down with an earth-shattering thud. The entire gym went silent. Jaws hit the floor, eyes popped out, total shock. Vianfeng and the class exploded. Zichen wins, undefeated. Meanwhile, Jinhei lay dazed, stars circling his head. Who am I? Where am I? What just happened? One punch. That defies the laws of physics. Shell-shocked, the Class 52 teacher stumbled over to Vianfeng. He patted his colleague, voice trembling. Teacher Feng, your student is a monster. One punch. He's almost reaching the level of the legendary Wu Tiancheng. Vianfeng waved it off, feigning humility. Oh, no way. Wu Tiancheng is in a league of his own. He's not human. Back in high school, that guy scared the principal senseless. His record is untouchable. Suddenly, Zichen popped up, wearing an innocent expression. Teacher, who is this divine Wu Tiancheng guy? Vianfeng's eyes lit up. A legendary senior. In his first year, he swept through all the top fighters. Even the school board feared him. Back when he was in high school, Wu Tiancheng ran 100 meters in 6 seconds, jumped 4 meters high, and bench pressed 650 kilos with one hand. Who wouldn't be scared? Zichen scratched his head, laughing awkwardly. Wow sounds terrifying. But internally he scoffed. Not bad. He's almost caught up to my power level from the summer of 6th grade. That night, at Mingxiang restaurant, Vianfeng raised a Coke like a championship trophy. To Zichen, we crushed the regular class cheers. The homeroom teacher swallowed his bitter defeat and declared he would treat the whole class to a feast fit for kings. The entire room erupted, raising their glasses to the hero. Their cheers shook the heavens. Zichen is supreme. The god of death has no equal. They swarmed him like idle fanatics begging for his secrets. Brother God, how did you become so overpowered? Do you have a secret manual? Big brother, give me your WeChat so I can bow down as your disciple. After completely destroying Class 11-2, my reputation spread like wildfire. Suddenly, everyone wanted to be my long-lost brother. The fanatical worship was dizzying. Only Han remained her gentle self, piling my bowl high with food lest I starve amidst the chaos. Suddenly, she leaned in and whispered into his ear, Little Chen, nature calls. I need to step out for a moment. Zichen watched her retreat with a heavy heart. Truly, kingdoms may rise and fall, but her total lack of bladder control was an eternal constant. But the moment she stepped out, venomous whispers from the sinks slithered into Qinghan's ears. Look at that wretched Shen Qinghan, pouring water-peeling shrimp for Lin Zichen. Have you no shame? What a pathetic bootlicker. She looks just like a lowly maidservant attending to her master. It is disgusting to watch. With her trash-tier skills, she would never sit at the elite table if she was not clinging to Lin Zichen's leg for dear life. I bet this little charade will not last long. The difference in their status is too vast. Hearing enough, Qinghan stepped forward, her aura flaring. I am not a bootlicker. The two witches jumped in fright. She dropped a nuclear truth bomb. Listen, well, I am his legitimate original childhood sweetheart. She turned and stormed off. Yet later, seeing Qinghan wilted like a flower in a drought, Zichen grew worried. Han, why is there a dark cloud over your face? Did something happen? She gave a bitter smile. Mom said, I would outgrow it. But here I am, a grown woman, still wearing diapers to sleep every single night. Despair washed over her. Little Chen, I feel worthless. Like a broken person who cannot even control their own body. Zichen cut her off, his voice fierce. Nonsense, you are absolutely not broken. He wrapped his arm around her, spinning a legendary lie. That bladder issue, it is actually a dormant superpower. It just has not finished evolving yet. Qinghan's eyes went wide with shock. What? A superpower? 100%. Your water element affinity is so god-tier, this is just the side effect of your overflowing mana. She blinked innocently. Then little Chen, since you have always been monstrously strong, do you have a hidden power too? He nodded solemnly, playing along with the drama. Just like you, I am also concealing a terrifying power. Qinghan pondered deeply. If that is true, I wonder what earth-shattering ability it will eventually awaken into. Zichen declared with conviction. It will be unrivaled under the heavens. Suddenly, a loud commotion broke their moment. 3 men were cornering a strange figure. Put the broom down, old man. We are exterminating rats for public safety. Cooperate. The man wielded his broom like a legendary sword, screaming, Get lost, I forbid you from touching my brothers. He howled in utter despair. You want to murder my kin again, I will fight you all to the death today. Qinghan trembled behind Zichen. Is he mad? Zichen immediately shielded her, analyzing the threat. Likely a mental patient who escaped the asylum. She shuddered. The look in his eyes. It is pure madness. He tightened his grip on her hand. The insane are unpredictable. Ignore him. Let us retreat. That night, at the Lin family residence, the family gathered around the news. A grim announcement aired. Last week, another young student vanished after school. She remains missing without a trace. Mother Yuan Xin gasped in horror. Heavens, another girl gone. That makes the 4th one this month. Father Yan Sheng corrected gravely, you counted wrong. Including this one, it is the 5th victim. The police issued a red alert. Young women should avoid the night. If travel is necessary, move in packs and avoid the shadows at all costs. Yuan Xin turned her eyes heavy with worry as she looked at her son. Little Chen, the world is becoming chaotic. You must guard Han with your life. Do not let her walk alone. Do you understand? He scratched his head and grinned. Sleep soundly, Mom. I will ensure her absolute safety. The next afternoon at the District 20 police station, the interrogation room door swung open and a stressed doctor emerged. The officer demanded answers. Well, is he truly insane? The doctor shook his head, baffled. I cannot confirm it yet. I used every psychological tactic in the book, but he sits there like a stone statue. He has not uttered a single syllable. The officer frowned. Impossible. He was screaming like a raving lunatic at the market just hours ago. Suddenly, the officer's eyes froze in sheer terror. Inside the cell, the man's body began to twist and crack. A monstrous metamorphosis had begun. Emergency code red requesting immediate Mecha support. Panic choked his voice. The interrogation room has fallen. The suspect. He is mutating into a colossal vermin beast. Thunderous gunfire erupted. The squad unleashed a torrent of lead, desperate to put down the grotesque abomination before them. A frantic report shattered their hope. Chief, a nightmare scenario from HQ. The Reformation unit is engaged elsewhere. Their ETA is 10 agonizing minutes. Curse it all, our ammunition reserves are running dry. 10 minutes, we will be dead in 2. Realizing the grim reality, the chief made a split-second decision. Fall back. To the vehicles. We must lure this beast to the outskirts and buy time for reinforcements. The heavy doors slammed shut, sealing their fate. Officer A. Bin floored the pedal. The cruiser roared to life, tearing through the wind like a desperate arrow fleeing the jaws of the Reaper. From the passenger seat, the chief bellowed. Maximum velocity. Drag it into the mountains. We must stall until the mechanized squad arrives. The vehicle streaked through the tunnel, leaving a trail of burning rubber, but it was not enough. The beast's speed was godlike. In mere seconds, a titanic shadow eclipsed them, breathing down their necks. Impact. The cruiser smashed into a boulder, somersaulting violently before skidding to a halt. The officer hung helplessly from the wreckage, blood staining her uniform. Was this the end? The colossal rodent let out a feral roar and delivered a death blow kick to the scrap metal coffin. Boom! A shockwave detonated, blasting debris everywhere and hurling the monster backward. Salvation arrived. A mechanized Valkyrie descended from the heavens, target locked. She unleashed a hellstorm of bullets, shredding the beast's hide. Hovering coldly above the carnage, she scanned the area. What in the world did it burrow underground to escape? These abominations are evolving. However, judging by the gore left behind, that thing is critically wounded. You cannot run forever, little mouse. Scene transition. 3 a.m. silence blanketed the sleeping city. In a dimly lit room, the protagonist, Toothon, was locked in battle, not with monsters, but with his keyboard and mouse. After grinding for 2 weeks, writing 4,000 words daily, he had stockpiled nearly 100,000 words. His revenue finally broke the 10 million mark. Just wait until I drop the premium plot twists. The view count will skyrocket. Once this goes premium next month, I will be rolling in cash. The dancing figures in his bank account chased away all drowsiness, adrenaline pumping through his veins. Toothen slipped into a blind spot in the alleyway, devoid of surveillance cameras, ready to test the fruits of his recent cultivation. 100 meters in 3.4 to 3 seconds. Standing long jump of 7.2 to 2 meters. These stats defy all logic. Drunk on his own power, he smirked. At this rate of evolution, this mortal vessel will ascend to godhood in no time. Suddenly, pure bloodlust. In the shadows just meters away, a crimson silhouette manifested in the darkness. A rat-man hybrid. The creature clutched a small animal, muttering like a lunatic. I am sorry, brother. Please forgive me. I did not want to devour you. But the hunger is consuming me. Just let me fill my belly. Once I feast, I promise to burn incense for your spirit every year. Toothen froze, goosebumps erupting over his skin. A rat-man. Could this be the mutated beast mentioned on the evening news? Has it evolved to mimic human form? Survival instinct kicked in. He turned to flee. He had to alert the authorities. Staying here meant becoming dinner. But fate was cruel. Burning red eyes locked onto him instantly. The monster discarded its meal. Oh, brother. I no longer need to eat this trash. I have found a much greater delicacy. The hairy mass of muscle launched itself like a spring, clinging to him with a death grip. Flesh, I crave flesh. Fresh, living human meat. The creature's terrifying speed sent cold sweat pouring down Toothon's back. It is too fast, I cannot dodge. Gritting his teeth, he unleashed a thunderous kick straight into the face of the beast clinging to his leg. It was do or die. Pow! Caught off guard by the counterattack, the monster was launched like a ragdoll, face-planting into the concrete. It scrambled up, confusion, clouding its feral mind. What is happening? How does this scrawny student possess the strength of a raging bull? It looked up to see Toothon holding a weapon. Before it could react, crack, a brick smashed directly into its skull. Seizing the advantage, Toothon activated his rapid-fire brick assault mode. Give it no quarter. He had to end this before its regeneration kicked in. A storm of masonry rained down, turning the monster's body into a sieve. Moments later, Toothon stood panting heavily, staring down at the unrecognizable pulp of flesh beneath his feet. He muttered, finally silent. Summoning his courage, he prodded the bloody mess to confirm the kill. It is stone dead. Ding. A holographic system window flashed. Successfully assimilated life force origin. Toothon felt a surge of warm power coursing through his veins. If I am absorbing energy, that confirms it. The beast has officially kicked the bucket. But why is the yield so pathetic? Only 2%. That is significantly less than the 5% from those cultists. Are this Rat King's genes simply trash? Forget it. With the job done, he vanished from the crime scene as swiftly as a gust of wind. The shadows retreated, yet safety remained a distant dream. Dawn approaches, and lingering here is a death sentence. No sooner had the Grim Reaper vanished than a silhouette of pure arrogance emerged. Her gaze swept over the carnage with disdain. Who cleaned up this filth before I could arrive? The scene shifts to a desolate, bone-chilling construction site. A hulking figure cloaked in midnight black carried a girl's unconscious body like a rag doll. He placed his trophy within the sacrificial circle and fell to his knees. With a trembling voice, he summoned the ancient evil. "O great rat god, your feast is served." But the air grew heavy as the Rat King manifested his aura, exploding with fury instead of hunger. A single female. Do you wish to starve me? This meager scrap of meat wouldn't even fill the gap between my teeth. Or perhaps, you wish to become my dessert instead. The minion's soul nearly left his body as he slammed his head into the dirt. Mercy, my lord. I dare not. Please, quell your rage. Great one. Let this servant explain. The terrified follower stuttered, desperate to save his own skin. Prey has become cunning these days. They lock their doors at night and travel in packs by day. Catching a stray is harder than ascending to the heavens. The Rat King's crimson eyes flashed with sadistic malice. Then next time, Bring me warriors. I crave the flesh of strong men. The minion bowed frantically. As you command, Lord Rat. Suddenly, a slab of fresh bloody meat was tossed down by the king, a twisted reward. The follower pounced on it like a starving beast. He devoured the raw flesh, chanting praises to his master between savage bites. Meanwhile, the Rat King's slime-covered tongue coiled around the girl. His maw opened wide, revealing rows of razor-sharp fangs. The sickening sound of crushing bone echoed through the ruins. After swallowing his prey whole, the Rat King licked his lips with cold dissatisfaction. Bring me no more commoners. Their blood tastes bitter and cheap. What I truly crave is the exquisite flavor of the elite, raised in luxury, pampered, and soft. Their meat is marbled with richness, a true delicacy for a king. Back in the realm of the living, the air crackled with fighting spirit. To prepare Qinghan for the martial exams, the Grim Reaper team had transformed her home into a private dojo. He was meticulously correcting her form. Your guard is too high. Lower your center of gravity. Power flows from the waist. That is the only way to deliver a devastating blow. Qinghan absorbed every instruction like a sponge. He kicked at her stance. Your legs are too close. How will you stand your ground? Widen your base. Become immovable like a mountain. His sharp gaze missed nothing, dissecting her posture with surgical precision. Stop presenting a target to your enemy. Angle your body, minimize the impact zone. Theory time was over. He beckoned her with a taunting wave. Now combat simulation. Attack me with everything you have. Show me your killing intent. Qinghan clenched her fists, her aura flaring up. You asked for it, take this. Her punch tore through the air, but he caught it effortlessly in his palm. Not bad. The angle was vicious. Your force generation has evolved. But he gave her no quarter. She spun instantly, launching a high kick aimed at his head. He deflected the strike, lecturing her mid-combat. Your sweep is flawed. Loosen your hips. Don't be so rigid. You need a wider arc to generate true kinetic force. Remember the correction I just made. Do it again. And so the grueling session continued, one teaching, one acting as a living punching bag, sweat mingling with the fire of youth. After hours of brutal sparring, Qinghan finally collapsed. Her breath came in ragged gasps, her combat suit drenched in perspiration. I'm shattered. But I can feel the martial way awakening in every fiber of my being. She looked up at him, eyes burning with newfound ambition. Little Shen, 3 times a week isn't enough to satisfy this hunger. Let's undergo special training every single day. But he instantly poured cold water on her flames. Greed leads to ruin. 3 sessions is your physical limit. His voice turned stern. Your body is flesh, not a machine. Push it too far, and it will snap. Though disappointed, she recognized the wisdom in his words and nodded obediently. Fine, I'll follow your lead. Suddenly, her phone buzzed violently on the floor. Curiosity piqued, she leaned in to share the screen. Breaking news. What shook the world this time? A notification from the Demon Mechanic Corporation flashed. Full medical sponsorship for the mechanical genius left crippled by failed augmentation. But the real headline was below. Kyoto University Prodigy successfully merges with the mutant sky spider, gene. History, rewritten with a successful second fusion. He scrolled through the article, his sword-like brows furrowing. The Kyoto Prodigy. Is it that child god from years ago? But isn't there an unwritten law? One must reach adulthood before attempting gene fusion. An immature body cannot withstand the invasion of beast genes. The risk of mutation and madness is catastrophic. Yet under 18 and already surviving a second fusion. Just what kind of monster have they created? Heaven-defying talent indeed. Perhaps the path of mutant genetics is the true meta of this era. The scene cuts to Lin Zichen's room. The readers were going insane, comments flooding in like a tsunami. 50,000 words a day. Is this author a typewriter deity powered by rice? Thanks to the supreme buff of the heavenly wisdom root, his neural processing and typing speed had reached a realm beyond mortals. 10,000 words an hour was merely a warm-up, writing novels for fortune while cultivating his martial path, truly killing 2 birds with 1 stone. His father walked in, eyes shining with immense pride. Little Shen, you truly have the golden touch with words. Keep up this legendary pace. With a story this addictive, we're guaranteed 50,000 yuan in royalties this first month alone. With the chapter count rising, a monthly income of 100,000 was practically guaranteed. The mere thought of 50,000 or even 100,000 danced in Tuthan's mind, leaving him trembling with excitement. With this treasure trove, the crushing financial burden of unlocking the exotic beast chart would vanish into thin air. Just 2 months of royalties, and the legendary Violent Eagle map would rightfully belong to him. The scene shifted to the martial arts hall, where instructor Han Wenfeng initiated an internal assessment dripping with tension. Tuthan unleashed his inner overlord, delivering lightning-fast kicks that sent every opponent crashing down in utter despair. After a streak of absolute domination, he casually pocketed a sweet bonus of 88 yuan. That wasn't all. His experience bar skyrocketed, officially unlocking the prestigious Natural Selection achievement. In stark contrast, Shen Qinghan held onto her title as the dead last disciple, having never tasted the sweetness of victory. However, the look in her eyes had evolved. She was no longer a victim, but a fighter baring her fangs to strike back. Remember her duel with Wen Yuntong? She was blasted off the stage in a humiliating 3 seconds flat. But today, she stood her ground like a fortress for 3 whole minutes, even launching counters that made her opponent sweat bullets. Witnessing this butterfly-like metamorphosis, Instructor Han showered her with praise, fueling her fighting spirit. Suddenly, the instructor's aura sharpened like a blade, his voice booming as he announced earth-shattering news. In 1 month, we declare war on the strongest elite class. Our mission, annihilate everyone, sparing only their top 3 masters. A roar of determination shook the dojo walls as their confidence ignited like a raging inferno. Seeing his students thirsty for battle, Han Nguyenfong smirked, nodding with deep satisfaction. Time flew faster than a stray dog. A month passed in a blink, and Tuthan found himself strolling through the supermarket. He marched to the counter, boldly demanding the highest grade of violent eagle meat available. The staff beamed, offering a shocking promotion: buy 100 pounds and receive an immediate 5% discount. The calculator in Tuthan's brain whirred to life. He frowned, weighing the pros and cons of this investment. Better to tighten his belt for now. He would wait until next month to buy in bulk and maximize those sweet savings. The next morning, Qinghan stuck to him like a little shadow, chattering endlessly about the newly opened canteen. Rumor had it, the chef possessed god-tier skills, and she dragged him along, refusing to take no for an answer. Tuthan nodded, indulging her, and they stepped into a paradise where mouth-watering aromas filled the air. Qinghan inhaled the scent with a look of pure euphoria, quickly balancing a tray piled high with food. Between ravenous bites, she chirped away at Tuthan like a sparrow greeting the morning sun. She praised their luck for arriving early, claiming a moment later would have meant waiting in a line long enough to stretch a giraffe's neck. Suddenly, a jarring argument erupted behind Tuthan. Someone was furious about being blatantly cut in line. The intruder shamelessly claimed a friend saved his spot, a pathetic excuse that would make anyone's blood boil. But justice would not be silenced. The victim firmly demanded the rude intruder go to the back of the line. The line cutter instantly bristled, spewing profanities and insulting the other student's intelligence with arrogant pride. He tilted his chin up in defiance, his attitude screaming, "I'm cutting in line, what are you going to do about it?" Qinghan's face paled as she recognized the victim. It was Havu, caught in the eye of the storm. Tuthan shook his head coolly, assuming Havu's fiery temper would easily terrify a low-level thug. But the tables turned. The leader walked away, leaving Havu isolated and surrounded by a pack of malicious wolves. Havu gritted his teeth, eyes blazing with rage as he questioned the hostile group closing in on him. One of the thugs sneered, mocking him with the claim that they simply wanted to take his place in line. Blood rushed to Havu's head and he roared in anger, demanding the scoundrels respect the order. Yet, when he tried to push back, he was horrified to find his strength was like a pebble hitting a mountain, completely useless. Qinghan shot up from her seat, heart pounding and legs trembling as she watched her friend get ruthlessly bullied. Tuthan finally strolled over, offering a polite warning to the ringleader, only to receive a smirk full of disdain. Faced with the question, "What can you do?" Tuthan calmly pulled out his phone, his aura suddenly dominating the room. He announced he was calling the teacher, causing the bully to frown in disgust and label him a coward hiding behind authority. Tuthan offered a faint, cold smile, retorting that stealing a spot was the true mark of a shameless disgrace. Realizing they couldn't win the war of words, the thugs retreated with their tails between their legs. But not without throwing back glares full of venom and provocation. Night fell over a gloomy mansion in the heart of Sunhai City. The sect leader of the Mouse God sat upon his dark throne, his chilling voice announcing the demise of the fool known as Kwang Nok. That idiot had the audacity to cause a scene at the black market and provoke the security team. In the end, he simply dug his own grave and walked right into the jaws of death. The believers below showed zero mercy. Instead, they sneered, claiming that Mad Dog got exactly what he deserved. His existence was nothing but a liability to the organization. I had been sick of his face for a long time. A fool with too much enthusiasm is a curse that eventually drags everyone into the mud. With those cold words, the leader introduced a new recruit to fill the void left by the dead trash. He commanded the sect to welcome their future comrade. Furthermore, the great Mouse God had issued a divine decree. He claimed the flesh of common mortals was too bitter and hard to swallow. His divine palate has changed. From now on, he demands only those who stand at the peak of society. You all better ensure the sacrifices are up to his standards. Hearing this, the believers froze, blood draining from their faces. Leader, please. Touching the upper class is no different from committing suicide. Exactly. If a commoner vanishes, we can cover it up. But if we touch the elite, the entire city will be turned upside down to find them. The leader smirked, calming their fears. The target is the useless second-generation wealthy heirs. The parasites who only know how to leech off their families. That type carries much lower risk. As for the new recruit, since you lack experience, I will grant you a special exception. You don't need to hunt high-tier prey just yet. Your first mission is simple. Capture a handsome, healthy young man to hone your skills, then offer him to the Lord God's son under the Mouse God's command. Receiving the death exemption token, the man beside him grinned sinisterly. His eyes overflowed with supreme arrogance. Rest assured, leader. This subordinate will hunt the most exquisite prey in the city to sacrifice to the Lord God's son. Meanwhile, back at school, Havu was still furiously venting to Tu Than. I spent days investigating, and you won't believe it. Those arrogant jerks who cut in line that day aren't strangers at all. They are from the third-year key class, the so-called elite class that everyone praises to the heavens. The very opponents we are about to face. They call themselves the elite, but their personalities are absolute trash. I spit on them. Tu Than, however, remained unmoved amidst the chaos, scrolling through his phone with a stoic face. Academic grades and morality clearly don't go hand in hand. But suddenly his finger froze as a shocking headline caught his eye. The screen glowed red with a missing person notice accompanied by a massive bounty reward. Tu Than narrowed his eyes, a sharp glint of suspicion forming. Another rich young master has evaporated. This is already the 5th consecutive case. The strange part is the kidnappers never demand ransom. It's as if money isn't their objective at all. Could the filthy rats lurking in the shadows be involved? His train of thought was shattered as the bell for the practical combat class rang out. Today marked the fated battle between Class 1 and the Key Class 3. The thugs who caused trouble before were now shooting provocative glares straight at Havu. Havu wasn't one to back down. He immediately returned fire with a decisive middle finger. Not letting the atmosphere cool down, both sides took their positions. Tham Than Ham, as always, was the vanguard to kick off the duel. But her opponent was a monster. The girl charged like a hurricane, delivering a thunderous kick that sent Than Ham flying like a kite with a cut string. Than Ham writhed on the floor in agonizing pain. This senior from the key class was on a completely different level. Defensive tactics were useless, like an egg striking a rock. But she didn't stop there. The senior continued her rampage, slaughtering the next challengers as if entering an uninhabited land. The same nightmare repeated. Anyone who stepped up took one god-tier kick and was instantly KO'd. Lysotam and the teammates were completely helpless against this overwhelming power. It wasn't until a short-haired girl with superior physical specs stepped in that her winning streak was barely halted, but the joy was short-lived. The opposing class immediately deployed another martial arts expert to reclaim the battlefield. In a mere 10 minutes, this domineering senior sister single-handedly destroyed 9 opponents. She swept through both guys and girls on our side without a shred of mercy. Looking at the lineup, the class was decimated like a war zone. Only 4 pillars remained: Tu Than Vuong Thu, Kiet Lu Kwang, and Havu. Meanwhile, Class 3 still preserved a terrifying force. They only lost 5 people, leaving 36 monsters who hadn't even bothered to show up yet. Even scarier, the 5 eliminated were all girls. The other side hadn't even unleashed a single male fighter yet. Teacher Vien Fong watched from the sidelines, sweating bullets. With this gap in power, what is there to fight? It's like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. Desperate, he turned and placed all his faith in Havu. Little brother, it's your time to shine. There are 6 female students left on their side. Go up there and clean them up for me, can you do it? Hearing this, Havu's eyes lit up, stepping onto the stage with a triumphant look. Piece of cake, teach. Havu stepped into the ring, his mind drifting to a fantasy of being surrounded by beautiful seniors. 6 of them. Even 10 wouldn't be enough. However, reality was brutal. Moments later, Havu was panting like a dog, sweat pouring down, but a grin remained plastered on his face. Mission accomplished. Not betraying expectations, he used his brute strength to send all 6 beauties off the stage. Just then, heavy footsteps filled with oppressive pressure shattered the atmosphere. Taviat emerged from the crowd, his face arrogant, his voice reeking of gunpowder. He asked if Havu had prepared his coffin yet. Facing his sworn enemy, Havu didn't flinch. Instead, he activated his ultimate taunting mode. You not only lack queuing etiquette, but you're delusional about your power too, son. Seeing that his opponent was the first male student to step out, Havu was convinced. This guy is just sacrificial fodder sent to test the waters. The chance for revenge is finally here. Chi Yue didn't say a word. Killing intent exploded from him as his fist howled through the air, targeting Havu's face. Wham! Taking the full force of that iron fist, Havu collapsed like a puppet with its strings cut, his face twisted in pure agony. Such terrifying speed, Chi Yue didn't stop there. He arrogantly planted his foot on the loser's back. You weakling. Just surrender and save yourself the pain. With a cruel strike and a sharp insult, he sneered. Get out of my sight, trash. A follow-up kick slammed straight into his gut. Havu turned pale pain shooting to the heavens as he rolled across the floor like a torn sandbag. Trembling and speechless, he realized the gap was immense. Qi Yue's strength completely overwhelmed ordinary students. His reputation was no lie. He was clearly making an example of him. But then Qi Yue's gaze shifted to Tu Thon, his voice dripping with the scent of gunpowder. What's the matter? You enjoy playing the hero, don't you? If you have the guts, step up. Otherwise, keep your mouth shut. Tu Thon smirked, landing on the stage as light as a feather. Talk about perfect timing. The system needed points, and a human punching bag just volunteered. The whole class erupted in excitement. Brother Than, teach him a lesson. Beat that arrogant jerk to a pulp. He's gone too far. Rearrange his face, so even his mother won't recognize him. Avenge Havu. Qi Yue roared, channeling 10% of his power. He aimed a vicious kick, intending to end this duel in a single breath. But it was futile. Tu Thon casually neutralized the attack, his hand clamping onto Qi Yue's hair like an iron pincer and yanking him down. In a split second, the world spun for Qi Yue. His smug grin vanished, replaced by sheer terror and confusion. On that stage, the aura of a king radiated from Lin Thon, completely suffocating his opponent's fighting spirit. Begone. With a decisive kick, he sent Qi Yue flying off the platform like a sack of garbage. The crowd went dead silent. A top 5 fighter was instant killed. This level of strength was absolutely unreal. Vian Fong broke into a cold sweat, analyzing. Just how many trump cards is this guy hiding? His power is no joke. Thu Kiet's jaw hit the floor, his eyes popping out. He couldn't believe reality. He's a monster. It defies logic. Is this really the power of a high schooler? It's too domineering. Luke Kwong trembled, stammering He's not even human anymore. Tu Thon scanned the crowd, his voice ice cold. Anyone else, come at me all at once. The students turned pale, silent as the grave. The result was inevitable. 30 minutes later, all 29 students, though, had been completely wiped out. Looking at the bodies scattered across the floor, Tu Thon wondered how is the progress on the natural selection quest. The system interface flashed the number 119. He shook his head in disappointment. Pathetic. Is that all I get? Grinding levels this way will take an eternity. Waiting for sparring matches is just a waste of time. This slow pace could not continue. My level has already surpassed this entire school. The strong make the rules, and from now on I play by my own game. Time flew by. The following Monday, a scream tore through the principal's office. What did you just say? The principal thought her ears were deceiving her. You want to organize a prize-fighting arena? Tu Thon nodded firmly. Exactly. I want to challenge the entire school. The principal clutched her head in distress. You're only a 10th grader, you brat. Are you trying to start a rebellion? What gives you the right to take on everyone? Tu Thon's eyes burned with determination as he declared the right of the strong. Follow me to the gym and I will show you what absolute power looks like. The gym was deadly quiet. The principal was skeptical. It's late. Why did you drag me all the way down here? He calmly took off his jacket, revealing an intense pressure. I'm just going to show off a little. The principal jumped back, her face changing color. Don't tell me you're planning to. Without explaining, Tu Thon walked over and grabbed a massive iron barbell nearby. Hup, the 700-pound weight was lifted as if it were a feather. The principal froze, her eyes widening in disbelief. Her jaw dropped to the floor. Heavens, 700 pounds. That's stronger than the legendary Ngo Thien Thua from years ago. What kind of monster is this? Witnessing such inhuman strength with her own eyes, the principal instantly did a 180, nodding furiously. Approved. I'll organize the martial arts tournament for you to challenge the school immediately. Tu Thon scratched his head, his sly nature revealing itself. Oh, and by the way, make sure the prize is generous. We need good bait to make the fish bite. Give them some motivation to come and offer themselves up as sacrifices. On one hand, a participation prize to lure the masses. On the other, a massive jackpot that grows with every challenger. The more flies that enter the web, the sweeter the honey. Defeat me, and that mountain of treasure is yours. However, if I remain standing when the clock runs out, that entire fortune becomes my personal property. The principal nodded instantly, her smile blooming like a flower in spring. Rest assured, I will grant your every wish. Seeing her pliability, he drove the final nail into the coffin of his plan. You must keep my true power a secret. If the lambs smell the wolf, they will flee before the slaughter begins. She patted his shoulder, eyes gleaming with trust. Consider it done. After sealing the pact, they returned to her office. Holding the blueprint, she fawned over him. My dear disciple, does this arena setup meet your high standards? He scanned the documents, a satisfied nod following. Flawless execution. Not a single error to be found. My apologies for the trouble. She brushed her hair back, her voice dripping with honey. Oh, nonsense. Serving a genius is my absolute pleasure. Just then, Yuanfeng and Deren arrived, rubbing their eyes as if hallucinating. What kind of sorcery is this? Has the sky fallen? Yuanfeng stood frozen, his soul leaving his body in sheer shock. The Iron Lady, usually cold as a glacier, was bowing and scraping before Lin Zichen. The world had truly gone mad. At 2 in the afternoon, the announcement dropped like a bomb. The rules of the bounty hunt were declared in excruciating detail. As predicted, the arena erupted like a disturbed hornet's nest. Students rose in a wave of fury, their voices shaking the stadium. Has the principal lost her mind? He is a mere freshman. How dare he challenge the entire academy? Where does this sky-high arrogance come from? Do you truly believe you are worthy of our time? You defeat one sophomore and think you own the heavens. You are just a frog at the bottom of a well. Those unaware would think you conquered the third years already. Ignorance truly knows no fear. Do you think you are the god of war himself? Facing the tsunami of hate, Zichen delivered a cold ultimatum. Starting tomorrow, I will hold the gate at the arena every noon. If you have the guts, come and take your shot. As silence fell, a wicked scheme brewed within his heart. Excellent. The hatred is boiling over. This natural selection process will finish far sooner than I calculated. Twilight descended, painting the city in shadows. A lone figure strolled through the chaos of the streets. 2 beauties approached, sensing fresh meat. Hey handsome, why walk alone tonight? Care to join us for a drink? He shot them a glare sharp enough to cut glass. Withering under his gaze, the girls fled in embarrassment. Get lost. You are unworthy of my sight. Boring. Truly a pathetic existence. He scanned the crowd like a radar, sighing in deep frustration. I swear, how does this city even function? Finding a 10 out of 10 supreme male is harder than ascending to heaven. Everyone here is trash. The disciple of the rat god scratched his head, his face twisted in agony. If the sacrifice ritual fails, the sect leader will skin me alive. Expulsion would be a mercy compared to that fate. Celebrities are surrounded by bodyguards like an iron fortress. Untouchable. A rookie like me has no chance against such defenses. His mind spun in circles of despair. The deadline is breathing down my neck. What do I do? Suddenly his gaze locked onto Zichen jogging past. Perfection. I wore out my iron shoes, searching only to find him without effort. The cultist's lips curled into a sinister, predatory smile. The prey has appeared. He stalked Zichen into a desolate alleyway, the mask of humanity slipping away. Shedding his disguise, he growled with bloodlust. Your time has come, little lamb. But before he could strike bam, a brick descended from the heavens, crushing his skull with the sound of thunder. What in the world just happened? Zichen approached, weighing the brick in his hand with a terrifying grin. A morning jog yields a sewer rat. This variant beast will surely speed up my unlocking progress. The cultist clutched his head, tears of pain welling up. Who is this monster? He speaks in riddles I cannot comprehend. Why is my luck so cursed? His eyes rolled back into his skull, and he collapsed into the dust unconscious before the true predator. He stared blankly at the motionless corpse, his face a portrait of pure confusion. What is this? I just threw a single brick, and he already logged out of the server. You call yourself a disciple of the rat god sect, yet you are as weak as a garden snail, he sighed, stepping forward to harvest what little life essence remained. Whatever it is, better than nothing. I will just absorb the vital energy first. Better safe then. Wait a minute. It only increased by 1%. Are you kidding me? No wonder this ratman was such trash. Still, my life is precious. Perhaps I should cancel my nightly jogs for a while. However, I cannot get arrogant. Not every cultist will be small fry like this guy. True mutants of the rat god sect possess monstrous physiques, bodies of steel that treat bullets like mere mosquito bites. Cleanup complete, Zichen returned home to wash away the grime of battle. The clock struck exactly 3 in the morning. Breaking news flashed on the screen. The City Security Bureau combined forces with elites from the Mountain Sea Evolution Academy to purge the rat god sect's lair. He collapsed onto the sofa, eyes glued to the monitor, his heart racing. That bizarre cult, was it really wiped out just like that? The one who beheaded the Rat King was none other than Wu Tiancheng, a legendary instructor and a high-tier entity who was fused with transcendent genes. As darkness fell, Tiancheng descended like a deity of war, raining thunderous judgment upon the monster horde. With just a few casual strikes, the fanatical army was obliterated. It was a massacre too brutal to watch. The earth-shattering battle ended in 30 seconds with absolute victory. Zichen gulped, trembling in awe. Is this the power of a high-tier life form? Terrifying. The scene shifts to a luxurious apartment where lights still blazed against the silence of the night. A man sat casually on the sofa, sipping tea with an air of elegance. Tiancheng, have you still not made contact with that instructor? Tiancheng blew the steam from his tea, his expression as calm as a still lake. Complete radio silence. His gaze suddenly sharpened, his voice dropping to a grave whisper. The elite squad that entered Chaos Zone 36 years ago. Their fate remains unknown. The man narrowed his eyes, probing for details. Then what is the current status of Zone 36? Tiancheng let out a heavy sigh. It is stable for now. Otherwise, I would hardly have the leisure to sit here drinking tea with you. During the Great Purge, a few fish slipped through the net amidst the chaos. The man raised an eyebrow. Fish slipped through. He pondered the remnants of the rat vermin. The entire city security headquarters was helpless against the Rat King. Yet, before a supreme genius like you, that monster was nothing more than an insignificant insect. Suddenly, he slapped Tiancheng on the shoulder, grinning broadly. Since you are here, why not return to your alma mater and give an inspiring lecture? Tiancheng grimaced, swatting the hand away. Big brother, I am not some idle celebrity, I have serious work to attend to. But guiding the youth is noble work. Meanwhile, in a cavern deeper than the abyss, cold moonlight pierced the darkness. From the shadows, a rasping voice echoed, shattering the silence with bone-chilling dread. At first, you only scavenged wild beasts. Then your courage grew, and you feasted on the tender flesh of the youth. Only after devouring the high-born elites did you finally evolve this human disguise. Heavy footsteps approached the trembling cultist. Like the drums of death, a colossal shadow loomed over him, dripping with malice. Do you know how much effort I wasted bringing you here? Your mission was to breed and build our underground network, yet you went on a gluttonous rampage, exposing our entire operation. The behemoth glared, muscles rippling with killing intent, his voice booming like thunder. Tell me, does a fool like you not deserve 1,000 deaths? The cultist, terrified out of his wits, slammed his head on the ground. Lord, have mercy, I beg you for one last chance. The monster leaned in close, revealing a grotesque visage, and smiled the smile of a reaper. A chance, very well. He raised his gleaming razor-sharp claws. But you must pay the ultimate price. A blood-curdling scream tore through the night. Fresh strawberry syrup splattered across the cave walls. Thus ended the life of a piece of trash.